Let's see. We should be playing.
We should be good. We're definitely up on the Facebook, aren't we?
Hi, Lisa and Errol.
Hey there.
Yay. Okay, Marie, hi. All right, I got to figure out what's going on with YouTube. But Facebook looks like it's working, so yay for that. Okay. This is so stressful. I tried something different this time and scheduled it ahead. So it should be... Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Coming up? Hello.
Learning new things. Okay. All right. It's working. I'm so excited. Okay. All right. I'm so excited. Hello. How is everyone this Sunday?
Hey there. Sunday it is. Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Peter. Hi.
It might be Sunday at noon for you, which is kind of perfect
too. Satellite.
Hello.
Hi. I'm so excited to see everyone. Yay. Okay, that worked. I scheduled them ahead. I didn't know you could do this, but like days ahead of time, you can go schedule it, which I realize is really stupid, and I probably should have known that 5 years ago. But
well, look, A, there's all sorts of things we should have known 5 years ago, and B, you don't know everything. They don't tell you.
They don't tell you anything.
They don't tell you anything.
You get to figure all this out.
You find that out later.
So, hello, YouTube people. I see that we have people watching on YouTube as well.
Excellent.
Yay! Okay,
feel free to come. Okay.
Well, who else is ready for a brunch drink? I was so good today. I haven't had one yet. I've been having my coffee in my That Girl mug. But that's enough of that. Let's have drinks.
I've got my coffee over here in my plain mug.
Let's have drinks. Well, it's fiesta wear, you know.
It is. It's fun. It's true.
I am going to have bubbly drinks. Paul is going to be making a Bloody Mary. But they're not my thing.
She doesn't like the Bloody Mary.
We went over this on Wednesday. They're not really my thing. So.
It binds. Too much snappy peppy.
And if you get that reference.
Yeah, you're doing great.
High anxiety.
Me.
Yay.
Hey, Ron.
Oh, Julie, Shane, Sandy, and Sherry.
Yeah.
Hi, Ron.
Yep.
Okay, you gotta scroll down.
I actually just said hi to all these people.
All right.
So that's that currently.
He's like, I already said hi to them.
I said hi. You've been said.
Yay! I'm so happy.
Sorry, you again and again. It's awesome.
This is fun. I'm glad we decided to do this.
Well, it was an off-the-cuff remark, and then we got a lot of positive response that said, "Yeah, we'd love to join you for brunch." So we said, "Well, okay."
Well, we'd love for you.
Let's
to join
try
us
that
for
out
brunch,
then, shall we?
So,
what the heck?
Yay! Okay.
There are some brunch classics which you all know about, and we will be making some of them.
I'm going to start with a French 75 just because.
Oh, you're just going straight to the 75.
Yes, I'm going to start at the top.
Well, you've got some excellent gin over here, and we've got some lemon juice, and we'll get the bubbles. And that's what we put in it.
Yeah, I mean, it calls for simple syrup too, but I'm going to leave that out of mine.
Yeah, a lot of drinks do, and that's, I think, from an era where your gin might have been 100 proof. So you might have wanted to cut that back a little. Now, this is...
I'm going to use your plate.
I don't know what proof that is. But this is probably more like 86. So...
What could possibly go wrong with
assembling this
on my lap?
Do you want to have a tray instead? Because I got one right here.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's nip that one in the bud before.
I thought of everything.
We get
apparently I had not.
Well, you thought of this, and here it is.
Okay.
So there.
I'll use a tray. Oh, it's cold.
Yes, it is. Of course.
Okay. All right.
Different location for us, so we're just keeping in mind. And your shots right over there.
I see that. Thank you.
Yeah,
1 ounce of gin. I'm using Bootlegger 21 from Prohibition Distillery in Roscoe, New York.
Excellent distillery. If you happen to be saying to yourself, I want to visit the fly fishing capital of the United States, that would be Roscoe, New York.
That happens to be Roscoe, New York.
Happens to be Roscoe. And as far as I can tell, well, that's an excellent thing that they do there if you're into fly fishing.
All right.
And once you're done after a long, hard day out there in the stream in the cold, cold waters, these days they would be cold, cold waters, you probably want to repair to a brewery. They have an excellent one. Or a distillery. They have an excellent one.
Yes, Roscoe is very tiny, but they did make room for both a distillery and a brewery.
They found the room.
Hats off to Roscoe.
We found the room. What a good idea. So.
Both are a lot of fun.
So if anybody is anybody on YouTube wants to comment, please feel free to drop it in. I'm stretching back here. Oh, thank you, Ron. Yeah, I've had this for a while. I was thinking, what do I need here? My standard headgear didn't quite seem to fit, but in the Jamas, I think that this is definitely the way to go.
All right, so that was an ounce of gin.
Ounce of gin?
Half ounce fresh lemon juice. And that's all I did, except for my bubbles. But you could also do a half ounce simple syrup, which is how the recipe goes. And
if you like a little sweeter, you could do
brunch.
that. You could do an orange liqueur. That's fine. You can add some bitters if you like. It's a pretty adaptable drink. It's not like there's a cast-in-stone formula on a 75.
I do have sugar cubes here for champagne cocktails.
Champagne cocktail is the other one.
Yay!
Got a bravo from Julie. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Hugo. Says our place looks so
Thank
cute.
you. Oh, thank you.
And Shane's giving us a thumbs up on the lounge suit. Yeah, this is pretty loungy. You made this, as I recall.
I made the pajamas.
Uh-huh.
Not the Fizz, but...
Loungewear.
Yeah.
Actually, didn't make the Fizz. The Fizz
No.
smells.
I believe that was from
Good
Archie
stuff.
McPhee.
So I think we can expand
It used
this.
to have a... Wait, does it still have a tassel?
It does have a tassel.
Oh, okay.
It's actually, here we go.
I couldn't see it on the
Blink
other
one.
side.
It's
There
not
you
one
go.
of those massive tassels like certain fraternal organizations, but it's there. It's there.
It's from Archie
Definitely.
McPhee. What do you want?
Yeah, well, sure.
All
we
right.
got
Hi,
Linda,
Mom.
Julie, and Peter.
Yay.
Hello, folks. So glad you could join
everyone.
us for that
This is
brunch
so much
time.
fun.
Yeah.
So we have... Well, I guess you need a drink.
I do need something, probably in addition to the coffee. The coffee is here because, it's brunch. Of course you
My
have coffee.
out of the way.
And it's not like you're going to have 5 Bloody Marys, although I suppose some people
Oh, why
might.
not? It's brunch.
5 Bloody Marys.
What the heck? It's brunch.
What the heck? Well, I will tell you, interestingly, in the interest of serving the audience, I'm going to...
glass?
I did not, as a matter of fact. You're not in a position to do that, so I'm going to have to actually do that myself. It is in the interest of science and our audience that I'm making one of these, because it's not my happy place either, but I do drink them from time to time. So I'm glad to do it the way we do it. I know that some of you love them, and it's a really simple thing that's great for brunch, and hey, it's like all that tomato juice is pretty much nutritious.
I feel like you could have 5
pass this
Bloody
back to you.
Marys. You want to take the tray?
I'll take the tray.
Thank
away.
you. I
There
feel
we
like
go.
you could. I mean, because they're not that strong. So
Ultimately, you can make that as strong as you like, and really a pretty short pour on the base liquor is a pretty fair
And I feel like people who
Be right
are
back, folks.
drinking at brunch kind of have a goal of getting rocked anyway. So
That might be, after all.
it's brunch. Okay. All right. Yep. He needs a highball glass for this one. So
Contemplating the options.
thank you so much, Hugo. We have to move all of this in the next 5 days to the other side of the room because we're getting new windows on Friday and Saturday.
What's that?
All new windows. So practically everything in this house has to move. It was all our idea.
Here's our last,
So,
right?
Yep.
Well, let's start this baby up right, shall
You
we?
want ice, right?
I will take some ice, thank you.
Okay.
So, way to make
Bloody Mary.
a reasonable Bloody Mary by most standards is throw some ice in your glass. It's a cold drink. If you really don't like the ice, you don't have to, but you would want to make sure that all of your other ingredients are cold.
Yeah, I think you have to have ice.
I think you have to have ice.
That would be
Next,
really gross if you didn't.
I suppose some people out there drink these with gin. You could. But generally, it's a vodka drink. I happen to have a bottle of 1857 spirits that is coming to us from Middleburg, New York.
Another New York
One
distillery.
of our local distilleries.
I feel like I need to tag New York Distilling in this.
I think that's an excellent idea, don't you? 80 proof, regular stuff. I'm going
The
to
drink
add,
your brunch much. Exactly. Exactly
I'm
right.
going to add an ounce of the vodka. Now, this is a pretty unique vodka. It's made from potatoes that they grow on the farm that have been grown there since 1857, like the actual name on the product states. A few years ago,
Those are small potatoes.
it's a family-run farm. It's been that way for a long time. One of the nephews, I believe, said, "Hey, I'd like to try distilling. We grow potatoes." So he got his whole certification, etc., and away they went. And it's pretty amazing. Suddenly they're making vodka and gin.
Oh.
And the vodkas actually have a lot of character.
Satellite failed to get her shopping done. Just me and my coffee.
Well,
Oh.
well, I tell you what. Maybe tomorrow or maybe on the next weekend, you can take care of some of those things and treat yourself to something fun. Because
Exactly.
we can't do everything at all times. So, but there's always room for one of these in the wings. So far I've got vodka in there. Good place to start. I happen to like a dash of lemon. Not a bad
That's
idea
pretty standard.
at all. Yeah, absolutely. And what else do I like to throw in there before we get too far? Oh yeah, shot of hot stuff. Happen to have Tapatio. Tabasco is usually called for. Tabasco is absolutely recommended. If you happen to be one of those people who likes to start with the Snappy Tom or the V8 and blend, etc., go to town. You could make this thing green by making it with the V8 green juice too.
There
What
you
the heck?
go.
That would be like a Vulcan Bloody Mary.
For Halloween.
For Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big fun stuff. And what else is a really good way to go here? I'm going to start the fill and then continue with ingredients. So I just have a start of a standard tomato juice here. This is just from the supermarket. Okay. And I'm going to add some other ingredients here. Worcestershire is called for. We just ran out, so I'm going to sub steak sauce, which looks awfully similar. And just a dash. I'm not going to make this into a burger.
How did we run out of Worcestershire?
It took about 3 years. But we ran out of Worcestershire.
How?
Actually, that flavor profile is very close.
I think I use Worcestershire maybe once a year.
Fresh black pepper. Get yourself a grinder. Don't use the stuff in the can that's been there for 5 years. Several grinds is a good idea, I would say. But definitely. And another thing that people like to use sometimes, celery salt, you happen to have. Just like one shake of that should be fine. That just adds a little more flavor. I'm going to fill
that sounds good, Brent.
Fill to the top.
Starbucks mocha frap with coffee rum.
There we go. That sounds perfectly
really
fine.
Good, actually.
And the standard thing to do is to grab your celery stick, swizzle. This apparently was some sort of adaptation from back in the day when somebody happened to celery stalks on the bar.
You want some olives?
I would like some olives. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's like lovely assistant, but she's the co-host. And I forgot a straw. Be right back.
See how organized I was?
Everything was great, wasn't it?
I know.
And boom.
For my bubbles.
In goes the straw. I'm going to try this before I put too much into it and it gets unwieldy.
I will try it.
And there's something very refreshing about that.
Nope.
Not for you.
Nope.
Not a tomato juice fan.
Mm-mm.
I am going to take these olives. I'll take these olives. And I'm going to actually add them to an ongoing skewer. I think I'll add 2 of these. These happen to be jalapeno stuffed olives, the big ones. It's great to make like a really small martini, put this massive olive in there. That's always fun. And that is my breakfast on a stick garnish.
Brunch in a glass.
Brunch in a glass.
You gotta hold it up though.
I will, but my hands are all from the olives.
Here.
Thank you. I'll take one of those naps, please, too. Gotta have these.
It's a thing of beauty. He needs to hold it up.
I do need to hold it up. It's true. Put these guys back on the tray.
Yep.
You know, just for kicks, because we have these, I'm going to throw in a curl. In fact, I'll even express a little
whole bunch
oil
of lemon curls
on there. And there you have it. So that's slightly elaborate for your Bloody Mary. Some places wouldn't do that. And some places, this would be the small one. Et voila. Bon appetit, people. Because this is not just a drink.
Bon appetit, people.
It's really not bad.
Hi, Jilly.
I think adding all the good stuff to it actually does definitely liven this up.
You gotta show off that garnish again. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I do.
I didn't skewer all that stuff from my
Cleaning
health.
this business off here just a bit. That's what moved this guy.
And when
around.
he holds it up, you'll see how I didn't skewer it for my health.
No.
It's not the healthiest skewer in the world.
It's not necessarily the healthy skewer, you know. There we go. You can't even see me behind the forest stuff. I'm going to point that out. But at the end of the day, this is your basic vodka and tomato juice with a bunch of other stuff added. I happen to really like the fresh black pepper. I don't think I would eliminate that. Celery salt optional. Some people like that. Some people like lemon pepper. It's not a bad idea. You like that combination. Some people insist on horseradish. Okay, you do you. Worcestershire is one of those things that's in the formula. Hot sauce, definitely add a dash of Tabasco. We happen to have Tapatio over here, or your favorite. You want to go ghost pepper? Well, I remember I warned you. Put all that together, throw in your stock, and put in some absurd garnish, which has an entire breakfast meal hanging out on it, and away you go.
Sandy, that sounds amazing. So she said, to heck with tomato juice, we're going straight to the Bombay Punch. Brandy, curacao, maraschino, sherry, and champagne. That sounds amazing.
Oh, boy.
And Christy's on the mimosa train.
Would you like to...
it's a good train to be on.
Would you like to PM us those exact ingredients, or just throw them in here? Put your exact proportions.
Maybe
so
for our next brunch broadcast.
I'd be interested in Bombay Punch.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
I think we have everything.
We do have maraschino. We do have sherry. Let's see. Curacao, definitely. We got the bubbles.
Yeah.
The brandy, we do have Applejack. Okay.
I should put this back in the ice, even though I need to make another drink in about 30 seconds.
Well, I'm working on this guy right here. I'm actually enjoying this more than I thought I would.
And Chili says, "No, that's garnish." Brunch on a stick.
If you can't even see the co-host because the forest inside the glass is such, then there you go.
I did another one for myself, even though I have no intention of having a Bloody Mary. So
well, you just
that'll just be my brunch.
You just want your skewer.
I just want my skewer.
This skewer, in fact, does have an entire breakfast. I've got the toast, the bacon, the eggs, the shrimp, because of course every good breakfast, includes shrimp, and a couple of olives just for good measure. Olives just seems like we had them with the martinis. We decided to throw them into the tomato juice just for kicks, and it seems to go. What can I say?
I'm just thinking about moving all this stuff to have windows.
Well, this whole side of the house is going to have to move to that whole side of the house, and then the next day the whole thing reverses, and away we go. If you want windows, you can do them one at a time, or you can just do the lot. And,
I mean, I think we saved money by having them all done at once, but yeesh, you have to move everything in your house.
You have to move everything in your house.
So.
It's but definitely.
I was about to say that's my retro home update, but I think there's more.
Are there more home updates?
We have a bunch of stuff we're thinking about doing now.
Yeah.
Retro renovation. It's no joke.
It's a real thing. For definite and for sure.
Yeah. All right, so I think I'm just about ready for another.
Ready for another?
Yep.
Okay, well, the 75 may go down quickly if the actual volume there is not huge.
All right.
Another thing to point out about these guys is that a classic formula for that probably has 1.5 to 2 ounces of your base liquor, because you're making a sour and then you're topping it with bubbles. And sometimes they say, oh, add like an ounce of bubbles or something. I don't think that's the way I'd go. I'd say reduce the amount of base liquor, increase the amount of bubbles, lighten it up, because you want to have another.
All right.
And if you have another that's that strong, then after 2 drinks, you're gone. Ting! Sort of like Swiss Army knife action there. Ka-chink. You know?
My next glass. Okay, so for this round, I am going to do something that I haven't actually. I wanted to practice this ahead of time, and then I didn't get a chance. Oh, okay. Sandy dropped the recipe.
Oh, there we go. Excellent.
We could possibly do
From
this.
Mr. Boston's 1963. Oh, wow. We've got one that's dated 65, which is probably identical.
So this is something I'm calling lazy and slightly bitter.
4 brandy, 4 sherry, 1 to taste of it. That sounds marvelous.
That does sound marvelous.
I might do that.
All right. Well,
okay.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Round 2. So I'm calling this lazy and slightly bitter, and I'm calling it lazy because it was suggested by a Bellini, which uses fresh peach puree.
If you can get fresh peaches at this point in time,
well, you
in the United States.
No, you can. I just saw them at the supermarket this morning. Okay.
Well,
but
I don't know where they come from.
Nobody around here has time to puree fresh peaches. So
you were busy putting together an absurd garnish.
Exactly.
And getting celery.
Priorities. So I did not puree peaches. So I am using a ½ ounce of peach liqueur, and I'm using Jaffard's Pêche de Vigne.
Pêche de Vigne. Straight off the vine.
Straight off the vine.
Yeah.
So a ½ ounce of that in my flute. Mm-hmm. Then I'm going to do, I don't want to do a ½ ounce and I don't want to do a quarter. So I'm going to do approximately 1/3 of an ounce of Campari.
It's a weird measure. None of your measuring implements do that. You have to estimate.
But I feel like a quarter isn't enough and a half is too much for this one.
In the case of the Amari, that is very likely the deal. If you're dealing with something like Fernet, wow. Difference of a quarter ounce will really throw you off.
I feel like for Fernet, get yourself a dropper. Anyway.
I feel like that way about the anise liquors.
Alright. Just a little, I'll call that a ½ ounce of lemon. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to fill with my bubbles.
Question for Sandy. So your Mr. Boston's dated 2 years earlier than our earliest edition.
Ooh, okay.
What's in the Mai Tai? Does it have a Mai Tai?
Twist of
I'm doing a little research here. Twist of lemon.
Twist of lemon. Mm-hmm. Let's try it. Oh, I love that. Mm. Lazy and slightly bitter.
I figured that you would. You were thinking you needed to prototype this, and I was thinking you didn't need a prototype. You just needed to mix on air,
I
and we'll
just
see how
tried
it goes,
it live.
right?
No net. Out here without a net.
Oh, yeah. That's tasty, and it is a little bitter, and it's a little sweet.
Have you been checking the tubes, too?
I have, in fact. I will check
Thank
again
you.
to see what's happening. And we have, Louis. Hello. Ellen Lewis in the UK. Oh, awesome.
Hello.
Thank
you,
you.
Ellen and Lewis.
Well, I think you're substantially past brunch time. I think you're on to...
I know.
I think you're
But
on
it's
to,
brunch all day on
afternoon
Sunday.
tea, as a matter of fact.
Brunch all day on Sunday.
It is brunch all day. Sure.
Anyway.
And depending on where you are in
Thank
the
you.
UK, you could just, I saw it off to Trader Vic's, and there you go.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Wouldn't that be a
depending
nice
on where
thing?
you were.
Yeah. But and if not, then you can take the ingredients that you have at hand and make yourself an entirely respectable spread. I'll bet. Thank you so much for tuning in. And also love all your videos and your tea today.
Aw.
That's awesome.
Appreciate that.
This is why we do it. Glad to be here. This was a random suggestion on a live broadcast, and we just followed up with it. We can do
We
such
just
things.
started talking about brunch, and
Yeah.
I was like, brunch broadcast.
Brunch broadcast, indeed.
I can get used to this.
Well, brunch on Sundays on a permanent basis.
Oh, no.
I think some do that.
Well, brunch, yeah, but I mean brunch broadcast. Like, oh, jeez.
Well, that would be like, those early TV shows like Arlene Francis live from New York City in her apartment, blah, blah, blah. And she has a few friends over and she has martinis or something. A little heavy for an afternoon thing, something like this, which is a little lighter. Good idea. Just saying. I'm actually going to go for an olive, which means I have to extricate it from this whole apparatus.
It's no joke.
There we go.
Uh-oh, it might get top heavy.
It started out top heavy. Here we go. Oh.
Lazy and slightly bitter. Turns out it's great.
I like the delay, 'cause now I can watch myself taking that olive off of there. And that does look
Don't watch yourself.
extraordinarily top heavy.
There's one thing I've learned. Don't watch yourself. In your mind, it's like, ew, I look so fantastic doing this. And you watch it, and you're like, oh, no.
Oh, hell.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to abandon this item. I'm certainly going to keep munching on it, but I kind of feel like I need to move on to another drink too. It's going to take me a while to get through all that tomato
Well,
juice.
you need to leave it there because it's also holding up your garnish.
Yeah. So this drink needs. I'm not completely abandoning the Bloody Mary.
You don't need
And
to
I will
explain.
say to all in the audience, if this is your go-to, it's a fine thing.
I think it's fun. I wish I liked
I would actually do that a little more often.
I wish I liked them.
If we were at a sort of brunch and the choices are like that, or maybe mimosa, we gotta lean to straight bubbles. I'm perfectly happy with the bubbly drink.
Well, what I usually do is, okay, we went to a brunch in Palm Springs that was so much fun. And Jennifer, if you're watching, you were there. And it was unlimited. They called it unlimited champagne. And you start with the mimosa. I said, oh, okay, because they said mimosa. I'm like, sure.
Sure. Get your OJ.
And then we realized it
lemon
was
seed.
unlimited champagne. So by the end of it, we're just like, no, I just want the champagne.
Straight bubbles.
And
Straight
I
bubbles. Straight
I
up
would
prosecco.
say I think they were regretting the unlimited champagne thing, except it was a golf club and everyone was doing it. So I think they were just used to
I think they were perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Let's just be real.
But that was a fun day.
That was a pretty fun day. And not just because of 16 glasses of bubbles.
That was a fun trip, actually.
It was a fun trip. The entire trip was great.
Palm Springs is fun.
It was-
I don't know what to say.
It was
It's
really
fun.
an off-the-cuff suggestion from a friend. Oh, you can have brunch here. And that was great.
It was a great suggestion.
That was a great suggestion. And, lovely course that it was on, and etc.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be hanging out in a place like that, hang out at an enclave
here you
like
go.
that.
The Mr. Boston Mai Tai.
So that's exactly what they've got in our book too. Now, all of you watching who are thinking, oh, you don't put a grenadine in a Mai Tai. But look at the
No.
rest of the ingredients. This is basically a spot-on Mai Tai, adding the grenadine. It's got the sugar for sugar syrup. It's got the 2 ounces of some aged rum. It's got the curacao. It's got the orgeat. It's got the lime juice. Absolutely. You might vary that up. Some people like it more tart, but I think ½ ounce on the lime is kind of perfect. And the grenadine is for color. And I think that there's a whole story behind that, which I believe Jeff Garry went through at one point when he was trying to crack the case of the Mai Tai, saying that back when this was a secret formula, and you had a drink, and it tasted like 4 or 5 things, and one of these things was almond, you didn't know what it was. You reached behind the bar, what do you got? probably the prominent thing was creme de noix, which is red. So you could do that, and it will probably taste the same, and it will suddenly be red.
Well, especially because it's nut liqueur.
Nut liquor.
It's a nut liqueur.
It's nut liquor.
Use your words, Kelly.
Yes.
A nut liqueur. I forget what nut it is.
It's an almond.
Oh.
Almond.
Okay,
And
like orchard.
in orchard. Yeah, so this is the big thing. And a reasonable Noya is going to actually add decent flavor to these things. I have, in a pinch, used amaretto, and it'll work, you know. So I know that these things sound all kinds of crazy. I believe it is... Do we have international rates on March?
I don't think we do, but if you just message me...
Yes.
Yeah, if you just... Kelly at velveteenlounge.com or Paul at velveteenlounge.com. I'm happy to, we can get you rates.
Tell us what you're interested in.
Yeah.
We'll throw it in a box, throw it on a scale, and get the rates from the Postal Service.
Exactly.
And see where it looks.
Exactly.
I know that certain things are going to look outrageously high, and it's kind of the nature of shipping.
I know.
These days. I will say that it's no surprise to you because your postal rates have always seemed high. Our postal rates have always seemed kind of reasonable, and they've been creeping up. It's kind of a drag. You get a few deals here and there. We can still send a record around the country for pretty inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
But glassware is heavy, so, you know, what can I say? So...
We've got glasses. We don't... Okay, the swizzle sticks, I don't think they're on our website right now, but we do have some.
We do have some.
And
those could be done.
We've got Glendora wine glasses, records. We've got our Christmas record. Christmas is coming.
It is around the blasted corner now, isn't it? Mm.
Oh my God, I know. don't
Don't say it.
Don't say it.
Don't
but anyway,
say
Christmas is coming. And the ebook, if you buy it, you automatically download it too. So that's instant gratification.
Well, there's the thing, actually.
We do have an ebook on our website if anyone doesn't know.
Which contains that's food and drink or just drink.
It's got party tips and some drink recipes.
There we go.
So,
immediate book, immediate gratification. So that'll cost you $0 in shipping.
We're planning to do another ebook, but hours in the day.
Getting there. There are some calls from time to time. When are you going to do a cocktail book?
Just as soon as someone wants to publish it.
It's in the back of the head, and we certainly.
I don't want to self-publish. But I'll self-e-publish, but I don't want to self-publish.
So we'll.
So as soon as someone wants to publish a book, I want to write a book.
We'll work on getting another ebook out there.
Yep.
No date implied, but we will let you know. It also says hi.
Oh,
from
hi, Lori's.
Built-in cabinets.
Oh, nice.
Well, we're doing some home improvement. Glad to hear you're helping on that train too.
Home improvement. It's no joke.
It isn't. Well, I'm going to give this Bombay Punch a try. Yeah.
So you need... Well, we don't have brandy. We have an Applejack.
That is close enough for me.
Which is brandy.
So, in terms of actual...
It's not brandy.
Flavor?
It's brandy.
Yeah. Brandy.
It's apple brandy.
Okay. So I need the maraschino, I need the curacao, I'm going to get the sherry, I get the lemon right here, we get the bubbles right here.
You might actually finish that sherry.
I might, as a matter of fact.
We have this bottle of sherry that we always think like, this is going to finish this bottle. And then we'll make the drink like, nope, didn't finish it.
Didn't finish it.
You make it again.
Nope.
Nope.
Pop me an ice cube, please.
Didn't finish it.
I'm going to build in champagne flute.
Oh.
I'm sure you can build in glass.
Only one?
Single old fashioned. One should be fine.
All right.
I just want to kind of cool things down.
Okay.
The liquors are not cold, so I don't really feel like shaking and pouring. That's a little elaborate for this setup.
I did
And if you could grab me the Applejack.
I did do one really smart thing before this broadcast. I bought 2 bottles of bubbles.
Oh. Smart gal.
We won't run out.
Not going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to call that. Let's see.
Okay. I want to respond to your comments, but he's commandeered the computer. Are you done with this?
I am. If you want to cap that, that's fine. I want to grab the sherry. And also the curacao.
Curacao should do it. Yeah.
It is a thing.
Yep. Okay.
Curacao, triple sec.
I gotta get this. All right. Christy's convinced some bottles self-refill. That's like this sherry. Christy, you'll understand this. This sherry was Irene's.
Yeah.
All right. I'm so excited about this one. I was looking at Bellini recipes because I've never made a Bellini because it's just, I don't know, I usually just go for straight bubbles at brunch. But I thought, well, it's a classic. Everything was fresh peach puree. And I was just like, oh, hell no. So,
All right.
hey.
This was given in parts, and I'm going to make it easy on myself by making those parts whole units. So this is 1 ounce. We didn't kill it. It's the unkillable bottle. It's a little sedimentary by now. It's been sitting there for some time. Probably a good idea to, like, you know, keep your sherry circulating a little more than that.
It's like that article I shared. If you're in the Velveteen Lounge Kitchen Facebook group, if you're not in the group, a lot of fun posts happen there, but it's called Velveteen Lounge Kitchen VIP Room. It's pretty easy to get past that velvet rope. But I posted an article in there the other day about, they call them dusty collectors, people who collect old bottles of hooch.
Hello.
And that's kind of what that was reminding me of.
So we need now. Scroll up a bit. Just want to grab
It's right there.
That's the my time.
Oh. Yeah, I guess you.
Oh, thanks, Ed. Yeah, this is a Archie McPhee, I believe. Should still be available. I don't know. Check on it. So quarter of the Curacao. Okay. So that was 1 ounce each of the base. So this is going to be a 1/4 ounce of these guys. I'm going to carefully measure what looks like a 1/4 ounce. That seems to be about right. That's the Curacao. We happen to be using Giffard Curacao triple sec. They decided to split the difference and call it both.
I've been happy with that.
Yeah, that's actually an excellent product.
Yep.
And they do a blue. And we got our local store to start carrying it. And if you want to do blue drinks, it's great to start with a really high quality. Blue is frequently seen as a measure of low quality in drinks, but it doesn't have to be.
I'm not going to lie. I enjoy seeing a blue drink, but if it's not a good blue drink, you don't want to drink it.
You don't want to drink it.
So I was happy to see that a reputable company was making a blue Curacao.
Otherwise, I'd heard of the Curacao from Curacao.
Oh, really? Lewis is saying it's hard to get cool tiki stuff there.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Wow.
Because we've seen in our time, I remember being in the UK in 2002, didn't we hit a tiki bar? Yeah. Three, okay.
It was before we realized there was a Trader Vic's there. But,
yeah. Probably saved us about, 200 pounds by not hitting the Trader Vic's, but we would have hit it,
It seemed like there were really good antique stores, like mid-century modern and stuff, but yeah, I could see how it would be hard to get tiki stuff there, for sure.
There were a few locations. I'm trying to think if there was a Don the Beachcomber. If all you've ever had was Trader Vic's, then the amount of stuff coming up on the secondary market is going to be limited. It's true. Yeah. Back in the day, there were probably tropical clubs, not necessarily tiki bars. So back in the 1930s, there were all sorts of places that were sort of Caribbean, ton of thatch and rum punches and things, which basically, for the world, look like tiki bars. Take a look at the Third Thin Man movie, and they visit one called the West Indies Club. Wow, you could live there. So I bet that the same was happening in the UK.
Oh.
Be interesting.
Lisa says they still have a bottle of hooch that has the tax stamp.
Tax stamp!
Yeah, that's so much fun. I love that.
Take it back to at least to the 70s.
We have some of your parents' bottles.
We have a couple of bottles that have tax stamps, although I think by now some of those stamps have completely fallen off.
We're not going to drink the contents, but I'm not. Well, you might. I'm not.
We got a bottle of
R.I.P.
I believe it's Pernod 75, which hasn't been manufactured since probably the 60s. And that bottle was probably much, much earlier. And then there's a bottle of Armagnac. Fairly nondescript bottle. I'm not saying it's over the moon stuff, but I've tried it. It's pretty good. So I will take the bubbles. This is actually a very nice sour to start with.
Right. I'm excited to try this too.
It's a lot stronger than I would normally make something because of just the nature of it. I probably would make that about half that size and use more bubbles, but I'm going to fill it with bubbles.
But it's brunch.
And it's brunch. The heck. Thank you very much.
All right.
There we go. I'm going to happen to have a spoon here. I'm going to actually use the backside of it.
He says, not hitting Trader Vic's save many pounds. Ask me how I know. I know you've been. I know you've been.
Yeah. So, cheers.
Cheers.
Here's the Bombay Punch, and you're still working on your bitter.
Lazy and slightly bitter.
Slightly bitter. You want to trade you?
All right. Yeah, I want to try this.
Yeah. I've already tried this, but I'll try it again. It's still
delicious.
Really nice. It's a really, really nice piece.
I'm really getting the maraschino.
Yeah.
I'm really getting the maraschino there.
Yeah,
I really do
through.
want to go back to the UK.
Oh, yeah. I think
all of your antique stores are full of crap. I just remember walking by one when and now this was 2003, okay, so take it for what it's worth. But I remember walking by one that the window was so inspiring, like had these old phones and everything. Like they really staged it well, but they could have just staged it well. Like how many stores have you been in where they staged the window well and you went inside and you're like, underwhelmed.
Yeah.
But
I'll buy your window and then that's it.
Exactly.
I decided to add a twist to this. I think that's an entirely fair thing to do to a Bombay Punch. But
yes.
Big thanks to Sandy for providing this. I hadn't even thought about that.
That's so much fun. I love these serendipitous.
That's the kind of thing I'd love to find in the Mr. Boston Guide. There's such great stuff. And the one from the 60s, that era of book, everything's alphabetical. So you can just roll right through and try to find your drink.
Amy,
right?
hi. Oh, Amy has that Fizz. You guys should all wear them to Ohana.
Oh, yeah. That will be like, the secret club. Ooh, who are they? Oh. Well,
the Leopard Lodge.
The Leopard Lodge, The leopard Fez people,
The leopard people.
Leopard people.
You'd have to wear like all leopard head to toe though, which probably would not be that hard to do, but
I don't think it's going to bother Amy, and I do it.
You'd have to do head to toe leopard. We're the leopard people. Here's our Fizz.
This is quite nice and a little deceptive, so I'm going to set it down and remind myself that it is there. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going, and then I'll want another.
And then you'll take a nap at 3.
Bye. But big fun. Bombay Punch, highly recommended. The slightly bitter.
Lazy and slightly
bitter.
bitter.
Lazy and slightly bitter.
I'm not done though. I'm going to do a champagne cocktail too.
A classic. Do you need to pass that over to me?
A minute.
Okay, that's fine. Perhaps I'll attack some more garnish over here. We still have plenty going on inside this glass with the absolute absurd garnish with an entire breakfast plate on top. It's always good to just take your celery stalk and do one of these. Flavored.
Not to be confused with the leper people. Exactly. That's a whole different fraternity.
Leopard people just sounds
so
like...
Amy's in for the Leopard Lodge.
There we go. Leopard people just sort of sounds like some sort of horror thing. And well, it is October.
The leopard people.
We're not too surprised.
Yeah, it does. We're in that time of year. So has anyone else been watching Ratched? Or have you already watched Ratched? Because we're halfway through Ratched. And it really seems like Halloween viewing. They weren't stupid to drop it when they did.
That did happen at the appropriate time.
Yeah.
It is... If you are familiar with Cuckoo's Nest, the book or the movie, you understand there are certain back of the head horror, real life horror stories that came out of such institutions, and this one really works that angle by taking you back 15 years.
Yeah.
And some of the things that they deal with are genuinely horrifying. And the colors. This thing plays a lot with color, and apparently there's some sort of coding in terms of outfits that people have on. So watch for that. Yeah.
Okay.
Take a look at the. I'm getting this from IMDb. For what it's worth, I don't know.
I've been noticing a lot of blues and stuff. Was that part of it?
Blues, yellows, greens, that kind of thing. From time to time, the whole screen tints green. Interestingly enough, and that's supposed to be a signifier. Which reminds me of Soylent Green, where the entire atmosphere outside is green all the time, and that's a different horror story. So
yeah. Anyway. I don't know. I just thought of it, but it's what's going on. We watched a couple of episodes last night, so I think we're about halfway through now. And wow.
Fair warning if you're delving into this thing. I believe it's been compared with American Horror Story. I'm not familiar with that show.
I've been told I need to be watching American Horror Stories, so Well, they should.
This is mature viewing. There are some graphic scenes, just fair warning.
Yeah.
By now we're all adults,
Graphic.
and we all know what things are, and etc. But, you know, just in case you're thinking, well, this is something about the psych ward. Oh, yeah, well.
Well, if
you
you're
know.
familiar with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, you're familiar with Nurse Ratched.
If you're familiar with the history of psych wards in America, you're familiar with some horror stories. So, here's a great comment. Errol laughs about antique shops selling an empty whiskey bottle for $15.
Yeah, I would laugh about that too.
He said, for $5 more, you get the same bottle with whiskey in it.
Exactly.
It's like, seriously.
We have a friend who goes to estate sales and yard sales, probably like at least 10 a weekend. And he just has gotten into the habit of asking people, oh, do you have any liquor? And he gets it, so.
It's not actually legal to resell your liquor like that.
Well, apparently that's a fine line.
That's a fine line?
It's a
Okay.
fine line,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
You're supposed to have a liquor license in all of your states to do all this sort of thing. So that's why you can't do it on eBay. You can't really sell the whole bottles. But
So I'm doing a champagne cocktail, a classic.
a classic. Amy would rather be confused with David Bowie's Cat People.
So you take a sugar cube, soak it in Angostura bitters.
If you don't have Angostura, but you happen to have a reputable old-fashioned bitters, for instance, like the Fizz, that will certainly work.
Absolutely.
If you happen to be a nut like me and you make your own Abbott's bitters, those will work. But your Angostura is had in every supermarket in the States. You need to have a bottle, and while you're at it, grab the orange bitters too. They're
You don't
excellent.
need to do this. I'm just doing this
That's
for the heck
swirl
of
the cup.
it. But I want to really soak my sugar cube.
Lisa liked Nurse Ratched. Yeah, it's fun play. The
It's-
ensemble
yeah, oh,
is
yeah.
good. The ensemble is really good on that.
And then,
Oh, speaking of
Fill with
estate
your
sales and
bubbles.
liquor and things like that, we have to say hi to Pat.
oh, Pat, hi.
Ding, 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 ding.
Hello.
She's asking what you missed cocktail-wise. I'm still working on the Bombay Punch. Once again, thank you to Sandy in D.C. for hipping us to this one. This is really good.
Okay, so he did a Bloody Mary. I did French 75.
You can still see the Bloody Mary over here.
And then I did something called Lazy and Slightly Bitter.
Slightly better.
And now I'm doing a classic champagne cocktail, which all you do is
All you do
soak
is
a sugar cube in Angostura bitters and then add your bubbles. And you can see, like, I don't know if you can tell, but it's really bubbling in there because the sugar cube is dissolving.
Sugar cube provides a lot of cavitation points, and that will make that go bubble, bubble, bubble.
Ooh,
and dissolve.
science.
For science. Yeah.
Science.
Big fun, huh?
All right.
So that means that you do have to consume this within a certain period of time, or you end up with flat, very sweet bubbles. So
No, thank you.
there is a
now.
recommendation in one of our classic books, I believe it's the David Embry book, to not use your high shelf bubbles on this because he thinks it's a travesty. I will tend to agree
I can
because
agree with that.
if you happen to have a bottle of your Perrier Jouet or your Piper or any of that sort of thing, it's like that's a $65 bottle of bubbles, and you're adding a sugar cube to it. Just drink it straight. Straight is good.
Well, and if I have that, I would drink it straight.
Now, when we have a $10 bottle of bubbles, you can certainly do this, and that's
Yep.
fine. So this is why I like to keep $10 bottles of bubbles around, and I recommend that you do the same if you happen to like bubbles.
The cube is still dissolving.
And if at some point in time you are hosting people, and perhaps in the future, and somebody decides to bring by a bottle that says Veuve on it, well, then I say that's an excellent gift, and thank you very much.
I usually, when people bring
Keep it cold
something
and take it
nice like
straight.
that to my party, I usually put it in the fridge and drink it later.
And I drink it later. Jilly likes leprechaun,
Leper.
as in leopard con. That's hilarious. And hi to Aaron. Hey, glad you could join us here. Awesome. Oh, and Lewis is also looking forward to the Halloween and Christmas videos. Well, we've already dug in on the Halloween things. If you take a look over at Instagram, you'll find some Glendora
it's on
action.
YouTube as well.
Oh, on YouTube. Oh, yeah. So check that
Glendora
out.
has her own series,
She's just motoring ahead, isn't
which
she?
I realized you could simultaneously put on YouTube and IGTV.
More things to learn on, like Learning Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Christmas will definitely be in. For about the next 10 days, well, actually no, for about the next week, we are going to be slightly sparse in terms of some things that we're doing, just because we're clearing out some areas because we're getting new windows those joining late are hearing that now. And we basically have to move everything from one side of the house to the other side of the house and then back again.
But we do have our Halloween decor in.
It's in.
It's in.
It's in. It's fairly,
so, yeah.
fairly safe places. They'll going to move that tree, but outside of that, should be straight up.
So yeah, and I'm thinking like we have this wonderful scorpion bowl. I'm thinking we need to do a
something with the
Halloween
scorpion
bowl in that because I think that'll be really fun. Randall, hello.
Hello, hello. Oh, and he's pointing out that Ratchet is the same as American Horror Story. So he's really.
Oh yeah, the same guy. Yeah, he did Hollywood too, which I haven't finished yet. But...
Gotcha. That's the vintage series we're watching.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so that's
the one where like
yeah.
Yep. You know.
Kind of fun.
Where they kind of revisionist history of Hollywood. Yeah.
It's not a bad idea if things had actually happened that way.
Well, it would have been better if things had happened that way. But
as long as you go into the series with that notion in mind, then you'll do perfectly fine. A lot of great set design happening. Good ensemble.
Yes, exactly.
Science! Pretty bubbles. Yes.
Aww.
Absolutely. That does. It
just
dissolves.
It is still dissolving.
It just dissolves along the way. Honestly, it's probably a good thing to do with a fairly dry and flinty bottle of bubbles to improve things. If you have a decent bottle of bubbles.
What are you saying about my bubbles?
Not really necessary, but we're actually using, what are we using today? Prosecco?
This is Cava.
Cava. Okay, we got Jaume. Yeah. Jaume is probably your go-to bottle that will probably set you back about $10 and $12 most places in the States right now.
Here it's $9.
Yep. Oh yeah, I like that even better. I don't know what that would cost you in the UK. You have such a thing as VAT, which are going to kick you up. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe there's a special sale over there at the off-license, and you get a decent bottle of bubbles for not crazy coin. The simple fact is, I remember when I spent about 3 months there. You did too, as a matter of fact, and enjoyed it immensely. Really enjoyed it.
I spent 2 months there.
You spent 2 months? Yeah, I enjoyed many factors there. There was a lot of very civilized things that people did during the day. And
I loved it.
the fact is, I think that it was interesting to see how much coffee and wine were being consumed. People think, oh, tea and beer. Well, of course. But people consume really large amounts of wine in the UK.
I loved it.
And bubbles? Yeah.
I would definitely do an extended stay.
Bye, Julie.
See you later.
Thanks so much. And so we got this guy going on. I think we brought Pat up to date about what's happening with drinks.
All right.
Once again, if you were
I've also got coffee.
Big fan of the
Double fisting.
Ye Bloody Mary, go to town. Honestly, I'm really enjoying this a lot more than I thought I would.
I'm really glad.
Maybe I don't dislike tomato juice as much as I thought I did. I'm not a real big fan of raw tomato, but I will cook the hell out of them. And we've been getting them in the backyard in the sun bubble. And the cherry tomato is really.
We do have a bunch of tomatoes
big
right now, which is great.
The cherry tomato is doing great. The plum is, I think it got a shock early in the year and never really recovered. Peppers are coming
it did produce tomatoes.
It did.
I call myself the tomato whisperer because we had 2 traumatized tomato plants and I brought them back to life.
You did indeed. They weren't that happy, but things happened, and now they're going everywhere. The cucumber plant is, of course, duking it out with one of them.
Although that, I've got to say, the big tomato, the plum tomato plant, I had no idea it would get as big as it did. It's kind of
growing everywhere.
Little Shop of Horrors-esque.
I think for the size you are, you should be producing more fruit.
There's a little Shop of Horrors element to this plant. That scares me.
Feed me, I'm hungry.
I think in future years I might buy cherry tomato plants.
Strictly. I was kind of happy with
huge.
The plum size sounded like it wouldn't get too large in terms of plant itself, but it's a vine. It just grows and grows, you know. We gave it a cage, but it's kind of ignoring those things.
I know. That's a little scary, but.
Can you give me just a few more bubbles to top this up? Now, the great thing about this guy is, maybe about half.
Say when.
That's good. Okay. The great thing about this guy, it's sort of a heavy base the way I made it. You could cut that back I just didn't want to be trying to do fractions of a quarter of an ounce in a glass when I'm just here to go broadcast. And if you had like a lighter base, you could do more bubbles. So it was a heavier base, so I'm just filling up with bubbles, keeping it going. It's perfectly fine.
It's perfectly
Yeah, that still tastes
fine.
great. Oh, vodka and Amy do not agree.
Oh. But
Well,
stay away.
Stay away. I will tell you the following. Most vodkas out there have no character because that's by law in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And if that is part of your issue, then I can understand. If you have had some vodkas that have flavors and things, you don't like them, I can understand. If you've never had a vodka that didn't have any character, you might want to give it a try sometime to something like the 1857 spirits found in New York State. Perhaps at a future date when we are actually in New York State together around the Lake George area. And you may be proximate to this because this joint is in the Albany region.
Yes.
It's a farm, and they've begun distilling about 5-6 years ago, and they are making some fantastic product. It's worth a visit to try their product. You can try, I think you can try everything for free. And then they have a store, you can see what's what.
Well, we were given, is that the bottle we were given recently?
I think it is.
Okay, yeah, we were given a bottle of this very recently, so I know they're still fine. We created, before Ohana 2019, we created a sort of New York distillery list. I don't want to say map, because we didn't actually map it, but
sort of a distillery crawl.
a distillery crawl list,
Yeah.
if you were interested in New York distilleries. But I think I would revisit that and see like who is actually
Giving tours at this
open.
point in time. It's true that
But
things have even want
but we were given a bottle of this summer, so I know they're at least still open and selling.
Still doing that part. You can certainly produce a product.
I know Prohibition, home of
Hello.
the bootlegger products, I know they're open because I follow them on Instagram and they're open for tastings and whatnot. So.
And our local cider mill there, Soon's, is certainly doing apple picking with special circumstances. People do need to be masked and all that sort of thing. And on premises, their store is open, same circumstances, and their speakeasy is open, and they are serving. They have some food, they have some cocktails.
We had some lovely cocktails there.
Really nice cocktails.
Weeks ago.
Yeah.
They were really nice.
And they have an excellent store. They don't produce hard stuff like hard liquor. They produce hard cider.
But they sell.
They sell
They
a
sell
lot
New York
of the
State
New York
liquor.
State products.
They do.
So they could have fantastic selection, probably the best I've seen of locally made products. And there's just there's great stuff: bourbon, rye, gin, vodka, what have you. And some places are doing Applejack now, which is fantastic. Well, this is an apple orchard.
Black Dirt does an Applejack.
Yeah,
and they're like 20 minutes from our house.
It's like really like Soon's is there, Black Dirt's there. It's just like you take your pick.
We are fortunate to live among a lot of really good distilleries.
We have
yay,
basically
New York.
3 that we can point to that are not far. And they're producing excellent product. Definitely patronize your local. They are making fun product for you. And a lot of those small startups have been harder hit than a lot of larger concerns, probably because they were all expanding. I remember earlier this year seeing a note from the folks who do Tiki TNT in DC that he wasn't really sure if they would be a going concern because his whole model was shut down.
But he seems to be doing well now, so.
But they got to the point where they could actually have customers in the shop again.
Yep.
And they are the only tiki bar in the States right now that is also distilling. They make some fantastic product.
Which is super fun.
Hey, they can do whatever. It's
a bar. You can go in there, and it's a restaurant. It's a restaurant and bar. You can order drinks, you can order food. And they distill on the premises, which is awesome.
It was great to just talk to them and see the product coming off the line and have them talk about, we tried this the first time, it was like this, we modified it, it was like this. They went through like 10 different iterations before they were really landing on something that I liked. It was always different, always a little different. They make a truly excellent, clear rum, which they infuse with a lot of botanicals that they grow on their roof. So basically they have the gin of rums. They have this whole infused rum thing.
So good.
It's got a bit of molasses flavor to it. It's really excellent product. They make fantastic drinks. They have great food. They're right there on the water. And
their
obviously,
location can't be beat.
this is an area which I think was kind of on the skids for a while in D.C. But then somebody said, you know what, this is a fantastic waterfront property. Bang. So there we go.
It's beautiful.
It's fantastic. It's a really great location.
Yeah.
Don't try to park there. That's absolutely impossible. Worse than New York City. However, you can get there
Well, we didn't
easily.
drive. We took the metro.
We took a metro. It's easy to get around D.C. by metro. So that's definitely recommended. And we had a great day there. You can check out our episode at TNT. And we really got the royal treatment when we were actually stopped by. And I can give some kudos to Jeff from the D.C. area, one of the major domos behind
Dr. Karuba.
Dr. C behind Tiki Thirst today in Bethesda, has been pushing that hard for years. Actually managed with his crew not to re-tikify, but to tikify a restaurant that had never been tikified. So that is fairly unprecedented. House of Fung Lin in Bethesda.
Well, the House of Fung Lin always had amazing food and drinks. But then, you know, the Tiki Thursday crowd came in and
they decided, he kept urging them to, like, do this with your drinks. Try this, try this. So suddenly their drink menu became what I consider to be the best drink menu in a regular Chinese restaurant in America. It is absolutely phenomenal. They're top notch. Their food selection was always outrageously good.
Oh yeah,
Fantastically
eating
fresh ingredients.
Crabs there, just I'm like, oh.
It's just,
yeah, it was so good.
Well, you're right.
So good.
You're right there in that Chesapeake Bay. You ought to be able to get crabs, right? Wow. Why do they do that? Well, and you know, the place actually, it looks like a great joint. It looks like a great neighborhood joint. It's very much standard sort of decor in a Chinese American restaurant. But they decided.
But it's more. It's more.
It's
than
more
that.
than that.
Yeah.
But at one point, they kept pushing them to actually get a little more bamboo happening behind the bar, and finally the proprietor said, "You know what? I will buy the materials if you'll do it." So the crew went in there and decked it out, and now suddenly they have a tiki bar. Wow.
It's great.
Tiki
I
fight!
envy you. Tiki Thursday people, I do envy you. I would go to that.
It's a regular thing. It's great, you know. There's a weekly hang that
nice
happens.
People, great place.
On the Zoom, and that's
fantastic drinks.
Keep it going.
It's not to like.
So Christy's good for Bloody Mary, which is nice. Monica has joined us. Hello.
Hi.
So good to see you. Christy knows Rwanda is good for distilleries. Yeah. Oh, what's your new favorite gin?
Yes, please inform us.
Sure. If Emmy doesn't
Since
like
we
vodka,
will be in the
gin.
area within a couple of months.
So there's a new distillery in Massachusetts, Glen Pharma.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, we gotta get caught up here.
Bottle of tequila because they recommended it. Oh, gin rum vodkas. Hello.
That's interesting.
Oh, Sandy is speaking because several family members used to own Chinese restaurants. Well, you know, if you have an in with these things and you kind of know, then you're discriminating, and that's actually a fantastic recommendation. Smuggler's Notch Hopped Gin. Oh, wow.
Hopped gin.
G&T's. That's another great brunch thing that we haven't even touched on.
Okay. I was also thinking Ramos Gin Fizz. That's usually our go-to Sunday drink.
We decided,
Sunday day drinking drink.
We didn't actually, if we were going to mix something up and I'm making breakfast
I know,
and
I feel
whatnot,
like a little bit of a fraud because we didn't do that today since that's what we normally do. But
I usually kind of prep that and then I'll start, and I'll get breakfast going. Once I got the omelet setting, then I've got 2 minutes to go over and mix up a Ramos, and it's a great little thing. I decided against it today because it's a little elaborate for this setup, and I've got plenty of bottles in front of me, and you know, we wanted to do the bloody, and we wanted to do the bitter and all that. And,
well, I didn't know if we also didn't do this because of the egg whites.
In terms of in the drink?
Well, I mean, because it calls for egg whites.
Yep.
Which is not a problem for either of us, but I don't want to end up in social media jail because we told you to
told people to drink raw egg whites
in a drink.
I will say the following about such things. I have eaten raw egg south of the border, so I have no problem eating it here. As long as your products are properly delivered to you, they should be fine. If you're saying to yourself, if you're saying to yourself, I don't know about that, or you're saying, well, I do have specific issues with such things, you can always coddle the egg, which is recommended if you're making Caesar salad dressing, or you could actually buy the powdered egg whites and go with that. And I think you can buy liquid pasteurized egg whites there are ways around this that could get you what you need. The whole idea is that will froth up and give you that little layer on top of the drink. That's what that's all about. So, Captain Morgan has released Tiki Rum. Mango and pineapple in a cool bottle. Oh, well, that sounds like a pretty good variation on the usual Captain Morgan there. Thank you, Lois. That's a good idea there.
Oh, Lisa loves Tom Collins.
Tom Collins. You know, sometimes I make that.
What's not to like about a Tom Collins?
A variation on the G&T, and that's actually a good idea. Apparently, the Tom Collins was originally made with Old Tom gin, so consider that. That was a product completely extinct on the American market until fairly recently, and now there are some brands that are doing such things.
Yep.
It is a sweetened gin. If you get a reputable brand, I think I forget the one we have on the shelf there. Oh, I think it's Hayman's, which is English. That's a real classic Old Tom.
Yes.
And if you do that, you don't need to add any sweetener because it's pre-sweetened. But it's a really simple thing. Fill it up and go. I do like a Tom Collins made that way.
I just remember in bartending class, which I took like 20 years ago. Which, when I think about it,
been a long time since I rock and rolled.
It was like really pre-craft cocktail era.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I needed a day job. So I went to this class, and I just remember the way you remember Tom Collins was Tom likes gin. And I still think of that. Tom likes gin.
DLG. Tom does indeed.
I'm sure there's some Tom watching this now going, I hate gin. But
those who do not like gin, and there are some, could always do a vodka Collins. And those who say, well, I'm not going to do vodka either, could always do a clear rum Collins, and that should work in a very similar fashion. If you decide to aromatize that with various and sundry clear gins, clear rums rather, then that would certainly work too.
Oh, the Aquafaba! I've made Aquafaba Mayo. Actually, I've made Aquafaba Mayo and Aquafaba Meringues.
And you know,
because I had it to use up.
You're absolutely right that you're not getting any flavor from the chickpeas.
Right.
If you use that and use that for a foaming agent, no, it just tastes like.
That's a good idea.
Not much at all.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's a great idea.
You made meringues with the Aquafaba.
I did. I said I made Aquafaba Mayo and Aquafaba Meringues.
The meringues were spot on. There was no additional flavor to that, and I actually put them up at work and I said vegan meringues, which they were, because some people at work actually do practice that. And as a matter of fact, also kosher. I have a few people who practice that at work. And what do you know? Completely kosher and vegan, and they were great, absolutely great. It's crazy that just somebody discovered that you could do that with the fluid from chickpeas.
It was fun.
It's all about lipids. We're back to science here, folks.
I realized he made a lot of meringues, and I'm like, I can't eat this many meringues, which is why he took them to work. I'm like, okay. I had one or two, and I'm like, okay, I'm done with meringues. So they
disappeared, so clearly they were good. Amy's talking about, Jeff and Suzanne brought them there. Oh, yeah. Went to a TNT. TNT is great. There's also in D.C., there are two other places that you should visit when you're there. Archipelago has been there now, I think, the longest of these places.
Oh, Archipelago rocks.
It's a really cool joint. Like, their original sort of setup was more of contemporary bar, which happened to do excellent tiki drinks and nibbles. Their nibbles are very good. Mm-hmm. And they also are the only place I've seen which has a whole shrine to Tom Selleck. You got to see the shrine to Tom Selleck. And in the past few years, they decided, well, we really wanted to also do a classic tiki bar setup. So they found a corner of the upstairs, and they decked it out, and they finally opened that up, I believe, last year, probably early last year. And we have been there too. So at which point you can take advantage of such things. It's worth visiting either section. It's a very great place.
Yes.
And I forget the third place that there is.
Well, I'm hesitant to recommend too many places because COVID. I don't know who's open. I don't know who's doing what. So I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, it was fun. That was a fun trip.
Sometimes you just sort of do the rounds of these things and check these situations out. It's great when you have a driver. And otherwise, there is such a thing as, Uber and all that kind of thing. Uber, and all that sort of thing. So
we always stay at a hotel. Well, we've stayed at the same hotel a couple of times when we've gone down there in Bethesda. And the good news is it's near a train station.
very near the metro.
So we just take the metro to the last stop. And then last time we Ubered back to our hotel.
Uber.
He's an Uber, so I'm gonna bust him.
She's gonna take the piss out of me for the rest of the evening
But
with the Uber.
we just Ubered back to our hotel from there, and it was really easy. So I believe it was in Gaithersburg. No, that was the last one. The last one was in Bethesda.
Bethesda proper. That was a good hotel too.
Yeah, that was a great hotel.
I forget the hotel, but it was actually
I could find out if anyone
well-appointed
cares.
and easy access to everything, and very easy access to Phuong Lin, which was our first.
Well, that was
stop
the
on
one where
tour.
when we went to House of Phuong Lin, we just took an Uber
Yeah.
there, and
Umlaut.
that was when I noticed with Uber that every time we got into an Uber, the driver changed the station to 80s. And I was like, wait a minute, is he calling us old?
Now these folks are gonna like this music, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Every Uber driver, like, as soon as we got in, they're like, oh, and they changed the station to 80s.
You know, if he's gonna like really hit the Depeche Mode pretty hard, okay,
Which is okay, so I mean,
I can handle that, no
he nailed
problem.
this. He nailed
Whatever,
this, but
absolutely.
like, okay.
You could just as
That was
easily
kinda
throw
funny.
on like 50s Miles Davis, and I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But you could just as easily throw on Who's Gonna Do It, I'm good with that too. So there's the thing about stereotyping, folks. But hey, I got no problem with that. The Uber drivers we've had have actually been very attentive to such things. So
Or Uber.
Uber, there's no Uber.
So,
Hi, Marilyn.
hi.
Thank you so much for joining us.
So I just poured straight bubbles in here because part of my sugar cube was left. So
you've got sort of a champagne half cocktail.
oh, I'll put more in when it
Well, I'll put more.
dies down. But
Oh, we just introduced Sandy to Aquafaba Meringues. Give that a try.
oh my gosh, yeah, I found that in the New York Times.
Yeah, look that up. It's a really simple sort of recipe. It's really just
I'll add a little
the stuff,
water.
some sugar, you whip it up, and just drop it on and give them a bake. It's astonishing how well that imitates eggs. You do that, you go, how the hell did that happen? It's exactly the same product.
Well,
There are a lot of substitutes that I have heard of in my time, which I think, well, that's not a great sub. This one is spot on.
the mayo, the Aquafaba Mayo, I found that recipe at the same place I found the meringues. And you just do it with your immersion blender if you have one, or you could do it in just a regular blender.
Blender.
But yeah,
Yep.
it was so easy. And you have mayo.
And you have mayo.
Yeah.
Yep. Amy says, you'll dance to anything by Depeche Mode. You'll dance to anything by Public Image Limited. Got me there. Big fun. So I think I need another something because I'm still working on this Bloody Mary, but that's a long drink, and we're taking our time with
It's
that.
a session drink.
And we're still supporting our absurd sort of garnish over here. So I want to keep that happening. I don't want to fall over.
So
I'm going to pass this item to you.
Okay.
You can wrangle the comments. And let's
I can
do
wrangle the
something
comments.
else with this guy right here. So we've so far done the champagne cocktail, which is a classic. We have done the easy and bitter, which is
lazy and bitter.
Lazy and bitter. Oh, yeah. It is lazy.
Easy and bitter.
Easy and bitter. Not easy. The I'm trying to think of contemporary classic that is. We've actually done the French 75, which is a classic and entirely apropos for a brunch drink. It's slightly strong, but not unduly so. I think if you started with one of those and then just continued with the straight prosecco.
I feel like you should
There's
make
no
a
problem
drink
with that.
called slightly strong but not unduly so.
Well, that would be fun. I'm trying to think of what else I can do with the bubbles. That we have them. That would be interesting.
Well, there's always a cure.
There's a Key Royale. It's true. And we do have that over there, I believe. Yep.
Saying.
Yep.
If you don't want that, ignore me.
I'm not going to ignore you, but I'm going to actually weigh the choices.
There's also the Aperol spritz, but we've done that recently.
We have. That's frankly a good brunch drink too. And Aperol is right there. I can grab the bottle.
It's your drink.
What the heck? think I'll plug some Aperol. Got a bottle of Campari happening up here. We happen to have used it.
I can't reach it. You'll have to
That's
reach
going to
it.
be difficult. Well, let's find that, folks.
I'm not getting up, so.
No.
You'll have to take care of this yourself.
You're gonna have to do that, my friend.
You gotta go get the seltzer, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, true. Oh, wait, I think we have some here.
Really? Oh.
Yes, we do.
Would you look at that?
Oh, how about
All
that?
right. Aperol Spritz. I feel like we just made this on a broadcast, but whatever.
Hey, that's okay. We can read it.
I feel like we need more glasses.
Well, I'm using a glass, and
Okay.
I am going to grab a cube. As a matter of fact. Oh, if you could. That would be marvelous.
How about 2 cubes?
Well, drop it in. 2 cubes to keep things cold.
He authorized it.
Instructions are right on the bottle. Combine prosecco, dark, followed by Aperol in equal parts. I'm using an ounce of the Aperol.
When did we buy that Aperol?
I don't remember.
Okay, I think maybe we bought it in July, so that's not too scary. I was like, wow, that's
That could
really
be.
low.
It did take some time to get down.
Okay.
That's true. All right, now I'm going to grab this bottle. And this is equal parts. so I
Oh, we're
will fill
definitely
that up.
popping that second bottle of bubbles today.
Oh, yeah. Groweth, loweth. And then, now I don't think the instructions say this, but I think we're going to punch up the orange flavor with some orange bitters. These are Angostura. If you have Fizz, those are excellent. If you have the Regans, those are excellent. Gary Regan, I believe, left us this year. I'll tip the hat to him. He's been actually
Was it
doing
this year or
stuff.
last year?
I think it was this. He
I gotta look
was
it up.
pushing quality cocktails for a long time.
Pushing.
Well, he was promoting.
Pusher man.
Promoting.
All right.
You know, power to him. He actually came up with an excellent orange bitters and a fantastic selection of literature. So, and I'll give that just a gentle stir. And Aperol Spritz. This is an excellent thing to do for brunch too. Fairly light. The base liquor is probably coming in about 30 or 40 proof.
He died in December of last year.
Hmm.
Just saying.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're coming up on a year. Mr. Reagan?
Yes. Gotta get caught up here. All right, I think I'm caught up.
Okay.
Well,
Take that off your
took
hands.
that away from me, didn't he?
Well,
I'm just joshing him.
yep. So far, it's been a fantastic afternoon, I gotta say. If you are just joining us, we've had several fine things. You can still see
Several.
you can still see the remnants of the Bloody Mary here, which still has a large and absurd garnish
There's another
happening here.
large, absurd garnish over there, but I'm pretty sure it would flop right out of my drink.
I think you would have a lot of trouble and it would be a mess. So we're going to
So-
save that for when it's simply time for lunch.
Exactly.
Lunch, brunch, whatever you get. What
Lunch.
you're doing. We have so far. So this is the Bloody Mary is still happening here. I'm taking that very slow because I'm still not a huge fan of tomato juice, but I'm enjoying it. So I got to say, if that's your go-to, go to it. If it is not your go-to, well, there's always bubbles.
Skip it.
Bubbles are an excellent idea.
Skip it.
Yeah, skip it. What the?
So what we've had the Bloody Mary,
Mhm.
French 75,
Yep.
Lazy and Slightly Bitter,
Yep.
Champagne Cocktail,
Uh-huh.
Bombay Punch,
Made the Bombay Punch. Thank you, Sandy.
and now you're having Aperol Spritz.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot when you tally it up.
That's 6 so far. And you are still working on that champagne cocktail.
No, I just poured some more bubbles into my glass.
Mhm. So your bonus.
It sounds like a lot when you tally it up, so let's not tally it up.
Let's not tell. Jennifer is making an American 75 with hard cider and bourbon instead of the French.
Yum.
Oh. I gotta tell you, from time to
We
time,
could do that too.
we just run the French 75 variations. Bear in mind that a lot of people think that the French 75 has to have, say, cognac because, well, that's what makes it French. Apparently, the original was gin.
I like gin.
I happen to like,
I'm
I
a
like
gin
either.
fan.
I kind of give the edge to a nice brandy, and we are usually running a nice French brandy in these parts here. By this point in time, there are some excellent American brandies, and if you happen to be using, say, Applejack, that's a classic U.S. product. If you're using bourbon, there's another classic U.S. product, same vintage. So yeah, that's great.
I love that idea.
Hard cider and bourbon.
Try it.
That's
Henry.
That's sort of like a what do they call that?
Which?
I forget the drink. That's
What are you talking about?
yeah, I forget. A drink with cider and bourbon. We need to eat something apparently. Thank you, Sandy. You're right.
I have a skewer down there.
You do. You can, and also a bunch of shrimp here.
I did have a big breakfast.
Mm-hmm. We had lined the stomach to begin with.
I did have a big breakfast.
Idea.
It's not like I haven't eaten today. I did have a big breakfast because I wake up starving. So
fair enough.
Yep.
There we go.
I think it's really cold.
Sorry.
Okay. So that
Let's work the skewer. I happen to have an olive here, jalapeno stuffed.
Those olives are really good.
Mm-hmm.
They are from. This says the spicy olive. The spicy olive.
Spicy olive.
Oh, these were sent to us by our friend Zach.
In Ohio.
So yeah. I'm going to assume you can buy them.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy them in Ohio anyway. I'm going to assume you can order them, but.
Well, he ordered them and was sent to us, so you can certainly do that yourself. You potentially have a more local place to do that with the spicy olives.
Yeah.
Jalapeno stuffed is fun, I can report. Hiya, Paul.
Hi.
Just enjoyed that shrimp. I grilled them earlier. I recommend grilling. I actually got a new grill this year. Thank you, Christy, if she's still watching. She actually contributed material really to such a project.
Oh, and Mom too.
And Mother, hello, if Linda's still watching. And as a matter of fact, it arrived in pieces, and I had to put it together. And I got to say, it's pretty satisfying to put your grill together, even if it does take an afternoon.
I'm glad you think so.
I like a great kit. And this was actually very well described. So, Short Path Distillery in Everett. Apple brandy. Oh, the Pommeau. We just tried some Pommeau recently over at our cider mill. And they're doing it, and they also planted cider apples a few years ago.
Yes.
They're coming in, and they said, like, you know something? It makes a difference to the hard product. The Soon's hard product is really, really good. So, thank you, Henry. Much appreciated. So, like, we've been commanded to eat by Sandy.
I'm eating shrimp.
It was wise.
I did have breakfast, though.
Toast?
I'm not going to drink all this without having breakfast.
By the way, there are some people who think that you can basically eat the shrimp shells. I am one of those people.
I shell my shrimp.
You can certainly eat the legs. Adds calcium.
I shell my shrimp. I'm not eating that. But anyway.
These are fully cooked. I had them on the grill at 400 degrees, so they're dead.
Hopefully they were before that. But...
They were frozen before that.
All right. Yummy.
Toast.
I do have toast as well.
Toast on a stick.
Hey, can you spray me?
Be glad to.
Right here.
Oh wait, wrong bottle.
Don't spray me with that bottle.
It'll work, but what a waste.
All right.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you.
Sandy says we're super loopy. No rating.
I'm fully shrimped.
Well, despite all that, thank you for reminding us to eat.
Yes.
We just keep going and making drinks here. We don't want to be like making eating noises during our broadcast and all.
I know. Oh, it's like this could be really ugly. But...
Oh, hello! Henry's joined us. Like
Hi!
Jen.
Hello!
I bet you
Good
do.
to see you.
You always seemed like a classic gin gal to me. So,
Absolutely. Oh, I know.
and in terms of, again, the aforementioned 75, well, bear in mind, what the hell is that anyway? That's a World War I artillery piece. A 75 millimeter cannon. So it's supposed to pack a punch. In its original configuration, it does. It was probably, I think that the etymology on this one is a little murky, probably actually innovated during the Great War. Certainly available during the 1920s in Paris bars when you couldn't do such things in the States.
Exactly.
At least not with good product. And it went from there. And it's one of those things that really kind of got forgotten in history. I remember a good 25, 30 years ago, somebody introducing me to these things, and I thought, that's a really great idea. And it's a very simple idea.
Yeah, I was just looking at this. Apparently, like the New York bar in Paris. It's called the New York bar, but it was in Paris, so.
Well, the New York bar was probably because Prohibition was on,
Right.
and they decided to say, well, let's do this kind of thing.
Exactly.
The innovation in cocktails in the world probably did happen in the States. Probably happened early in the 19th century and went from there. And then you get to Jerry Thomas and it goes really, really crazy. And you get reports from like English writers saying, wow, there's all this sort of stuff happening, you know?
And then
We don't do that.
Prohibition.
And then Prohibition happens. What are you going to do? You're going to go offshore.
Get creative.
You're going to go offshore to the Caribbean and to Cuba. You know,
Yeah.
like the same thing, I know, Jamaica, etc. You're going to the UK. You're going to go to France.
Creative.
And you're going to have the American bar, you know? We had like Hemingway was getting toasted on Hemingway daiquiris in Havana. And then a lot of expats happened to end up in Paris because, oh, well, you know, the times were cheap at the time. You could really, your dollar went pretty far. That's why all that sort of stuff happened. Contemporarily, your dollar's worth less than €1, so it's not such a great deal. But by now, there are some great cocktail bars in Paris. So that happens.
I haven't been to Paris since 1986. 5.
Yeah,
No, six.
approximately the
Six.
same for me.
1986.
Hi, Marie. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Oh.
It's awesome. Paul's warning about the Fizz. I believe this was Archie McPhee. I'm going to name check them. Check that out. I believe they still sell this. It should be a very reasonably priced product.
If they don't, someone does.
Somebody does. Somebody makes a Leopard Fizz. Leopard Lodge.
Exactly.
Huh. Sherry wishes we were her neighbors. Oh, well, hey, likewise.
I wish we had cool neighbors like you, too.
We don't. They're okay. Depending on the side you're
Our
looking at.
neighbors are entertaining, but not cool.
Probably not
So-
that much. So anyway, sorry.
Entertaining in the wrong ways, but
I like to switch back and forth between both platforms. I don't like to favor one over the other. We get a lot more activity happening on the Facebook. But here I am, I'm back on the YouTubes, folks, and Lewis is wondering, do we have a favorite drink? Or does it depend on the mood?
I always say my personal go-to, don't judge me, is a margarita. I'm a tequila gal. And it's, you can kind of customize it. So you can do a little bit in here and fill it with champagne and do a Mexican 75, or you can do a beer margarita. But pound for pound, my go-to is margarita.
Well, margarita is basically just a tequila sour.
Exactly.
Tequila sour, that's
But
it.
do you have one?
More often than not, when I ask you, circa 5:30 at the end of a work day, mixing, what are you interested in? And she will say a sour. A sour sounds like you've got the world open, but I know what she means. That probably means one of about 3 things. And I will frequently mix a tequila sour, and I will frequently mix a brandy sour.
A sidecar.
A brandy sour is a sidecar. Quite possibly also a great war drink. I think the etymology on that one is a little up to question. But it's a really simple thing. I really love a good sidecar. I do not love the classic formula of 1 to 1 to 1. So I cut that down. Definitely more base and less of the mixers, and that's fine. You do the exact same with the margarita. And the fact is that where does tequila come from anyway? The locals were making something called pulque, and the conquistadors knew how to make brandy. So, put those together, and you've got what? You've got agave brandy. It's essentially the same product. So really, at the end of the day, Margarita.
This has been brunch learning, ladies.
Brunch learning, folks. Big fun. But yeah, I would definitely, if I'm just in a place and somebody's asking, it kind of depends on, do I feel like something that's a sour? I will probably say sidecar. And any reputable joint in New York City will do this. Without question, will do it well. They're made very well at the Algonquin, and they're made very well at Sardi's.
So I always get a sidecar at Sardi's. They seem to do a really good job.
Sardi's will also like nail a French 75 very well.
Yes, exactly.
Like frosted glass, yeah, big fun.
I have to say that normally at just a regular bar in New York City, I will normally order a Manhattan because they all seem to default to Maker's Mark, which is a quality bourbon. So
it's worth your time.
Yeah, I feel like that's a safe choice in a bar like that.
It's worth, well, that's not what I was going to say. It's actually, it's a good default because otherwise you're probably getting a blended whiskey, and you know, it could be a very generic drink. But if you make it with quality ingredients, we found out recently there's a big surge in this country for Carpano as your infused as your vermouth, and that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. It's a deceptive drink because it's so simple, but if you make it with quality ingredients, Manhattan. That was my grandfather's drink, you know? It's a real old man drink, and yeah, he was an old man at the time.
He was an old man.
He had a good idea.
Drink?
He had a good idea. That's a good thing. Lewis likes Patron coffee tequila, neat, or
I
Manhattan.
have not had that, but that sounds good.
Either one of those.
I can see that.
Now we're talking.
I could definitely see that.
Now we're talking. And otherwise, yeah, I do like a Manhattan. If it depends. If I'm in a place with very limited options, like a hotel, not a hotel bar, but a theater bar. Theater bar.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You can only do so many things. It's usually like Scotch and soda kind of place. And I will frequently say Scotch and ginger if I want a tall one. If they could actually do it, I'll take a Manhattan. If they could do it, a martini is not a bad idea. Probably not my first go-to in a theater bar. In a bar which could do a hell of a lot of things, I frequently ask the bartender, what have you got going? What are you actually working on right now? And the bartender will think for a second and say, and
although I feel like a cater bartender would not, they would just look at you and say, what?
No.
But in a bar, in an actual bar, yeah, they're always working on something. The last time we were at the theater before COVID, we saw Tootsie on Broadway.
Yeah.
And they had all these specialized cocktails, which was kind of fun, actually.
It was fun.
We went up to the bar and they're like, what can I get you? And they had a whole menu of...
Give me a lot of things.
You know, customized cocktails for Tootsie. And it was kind of fun. And I had a tequila thing, which I do not remember the name of, but it was good.
Probably took a picture.
It was good. Yeah. So.
Christy defaults to G&T.
Exactly.
If you like
really
both ingredients, it's impossible to screw it up.
Far off.
Here's the thing about that. I remember talking to a liquor rep, actually repped a particular tequila brand. No, it was a mezcal brand. And he was noting that if you take a look at like what's the most searched on drink
recipe. Yes.
Over on the internet.
I know
it's
who
like,
you're talking about.
Yeah. It's like, what's the thing that people search on most? Gin and tonic. And you think, what is gin and tonic? How could you possibly?
Uh-oh.
But the major issue is, well, how much gin and how much tonic? And if you know 2 seconds of mixology, you think, well, that's easy. And if you don't, it's like a screwdriver. How much vodka? How much orange juice?
All right. I'm going to do an after-the-fact champagne cocktail.
Hello.
Whoa.
Oh.
It's like the volcano on Brady Bunch.
But at the end of the day, if you think it's a tall drink and you're going to have a base liquor and a filler, you probably think I want a shot of the base liquor and then fill with your filler.
Right.
If you happen to use seltzer in that case, you've got a Collins. If you happen to use the tonic, you get a G&T. It's not that hard. Not a big deal. Jamie says, sorry, got slammed. Oh, well, that's good for business. I hope that's okay for you.
Slammed is good, right?
Well, it should be good.
All right, so I'm doing an after the fact champagne cocktail with added lemon.
Little lemon. Not a bad idea with a champagne cocktail.
Although I think I did get sticky.
That happens. That happens. Absolutely, folks. Boom, boom. Sandy's noting, if you like tequila.
I love tequila.
They visited a museum in Texas. One New Year's Eve during the War for Texas Independence, the Texican Army made eggnog from tequila, sugar, eggs, and donkey milk.
Donkey milk?
Oh, boy. Ah.
Wow.
Well, people will use whatever they can to make whatever they can out of whatever they can. I don't know where you get donkey milk. We can get goat milk.
Donkeys?
Donkeys?
Would be my guess.
Yeah. Ass milk, I gotta say.
Ass milk. He just said that live.
Yeah, live.
We're going to Facebook jail. We'll see you there.
But definitely. And Marie's noting, glad to hear folks are supporting restaurants. You know, our local restaurants have been doing takeout for months now,
yes.
and we have taken advantage of that several times. One of our, like, a whole series of restaurants were just plain closed in June. It was a real drag for them because they're serving, you know. For us, we'll make do. For them, I really, it felt because like the whole staff to be laid off. But the fact is, at that point in time in New York State, you had to do such things. Currently, places are open for takeout, and they're practicing various amounts of safety.
Well, and a lot of places are open for outdoor dining.
Yeah. We certainly have been in places in Vermont and in New York State that are doing such.
Yeah.
And if they're doing it properly, it's reasonable.
Oh, yeah.
Reasonable.
I've never been in a place, I don't go out that often, but I haven't been in any place that made me think, like, this is not good. Where we were doing dining in.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah. I did pick up food one place where I thought, okay, these people are a little close together, but it wasn't scary.
No.
And I'm not going to name it because that's rude. But
I'm not going to slam one of my logos because they're trying.
And I'm going to assume that they were within all the various regulations. I'll just put it that way.
Amy still will not eat inside. I hear you.
We don't either. We don't either. I did take out from that place.
You haven't been in a place to eat since February, which was your birthday.
Yep.
Which literally was about
2 weeks before.
2 to 3 weeks before things hit
last time I
circular
ate in a
spinning objects.
Yep. We've done outdoor dining, which has been lovely, but it is coming into fall, and I hope places are okay.
We will still do takeout. Places will always do takeout.
I will do takeout. All about that.
I think that, like, there's also the idea that the whole idea of takeaway cocktails, completely verboten before this, may actually stick. That would be interesting.
Great.
That would be interesting. If you can send people away with a sealed container.
That's great.
You know?
They take it home, they drink it. I think that's great. What's wrong with that?
And I think that aesthetically, there's a problem with, like, how do you guarantee what's happening with that cocktail? So that's going to be an issue.
How do you guarantee anything?
How do you guarantee anything? Places make product. You do what you will after that. I don't know.
How do you guarantee anything?
I mean, somebody goes to a supermarket and in New York State and buys a 6-pack of beer. Who says he doesn't crack one on the way home?
Exactly.
It's not a good idea. I say don't do it.
Terrible idea. Don't do it. Don't do it.
But you can't guarantee these things.
Nope.
So...
Nope.
There's the thing, folks. You could do the same with your cocktail, or you could take it home like a smart person.
Oh my gosh. There are 3 gallons of our house-made pudding.
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
Hello.
I'd love to know what's in your house-made Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
It's probably a trade secret, but if it's not,
you know.
let us know.
Well, you can always share it privately if you don't want to share it.
I always love a trade secret.
if you'd like to, like, tell us, we will not share it. Like, you know, that's okay. Let's see what's what. Yes. It's always fun to see what
I always enjoy it.
What's the fun little ingredient? I put a bunch of stuff in this guy. I'm still drinking it.
I like the way it's getting, your garnish is getting shorter.
As it goes. I'm eating
As
breakfast.
he eats the celery, the tree is diminishing.
Castle Island Brewing. Oh.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's fun. I like outdoor dining for the moment. We're good for about another 3 weeks, and then it's really going to start getting chilly.
I woke up this morning, and I came out here, and the heat in this side of the house was off. So I did turn it on.
You turn it on.
I was like, dang, this is cold. Oh.
If you would.
All right, you got to move this.
I will move this business right there.
All right, I will handle this.
Right back.
Are you making another drink?
Well, let's see. I'm kind of low, aren't I?
All right. Patron coffee tequila. I think that sounds amazing. I love tequila. I love coffee. So, what's not to like? So I think Paula's going to do something else. In the meantime, we have killed the first bottle of bubbles, but I wasn't stupid this time. I got 2. Because normally, I would get 1 bottle and say, oh, hey, we got a bottle of bubbles. Oh, we're good. And I'm like, no, we got to do more. Because brunch. All right, so... This is crazy. Oh, I know. We don't do... I'm catching up on this conversation about indoor dining. Nope. No, thank you. Oh, Amy got seltzer in her vegetable box today. I had to go to the supermarket this morning to buy celery for this. So we have a bunch of celery now, which I just think we have to make soup. Because what else do you do with celery other than garnish Bloody Marys and make soup? All right, so I'm thinking of brunch cocktails and what we haven't done. We already talked about the Ramos Gin Fizz, which is amazing. And if you're interested, I would search on that because that's a whole thing. You have to shake it really, really long to get your actual legit Ramos Gin Fizz. Good. Christy mentioned gin and tonic, which is another good one. And I'm thinking of Pim's Cup. Is anyone here, are you familiar with Pim's Cup? I found a champagne drink that involves a Pim's Cup variation that I thought was kind of interesting, but it looked like a lot of work. So, celery is a cream cheese delivery device. Amen. Celery goes in gumbo, exactly. Okay, wait. Oh, Jamie, thank you. All right. Jamie, thank you. That sounds amazing. Okay. That sounds like a perfect brunch offering. Perfect. All right. So. Okay, so this is easy peasy recipe. 40 ounces of tomato juice, 12 ounces beef consomme, Worcestershire sauce, lemon juice, Red's hot sauce, celery salt, and ground black pepper. This sounds great. Now, do you do vodka with that? Or, yeah, that sounds great. Sandy. Oh, J Surf and Reverb. Cherry should be cherry. I love it. Wegmans chocolate cherry decaf coffee. That sounds great. We don't have that kind of option here.
No Wegmans.
Nope, we don't have a Wegmans. I think we should have a Wegmans. But...
By now, yes.
Oh, yeah. Soup is way too much trouble. Throw some cream cheese or peanut butter on it and voila. I love peanut butter. That's a good one. Hi, Janice. Hello. Oh, Amy gave the celery away. You know. You coming back?
I'm thinking about what to make.
He's thinking. You can't do that on camera.
No.
Ramos Gin Fizz?
Oh, that'd be a lot of work.
I know. I agree. Oh, look who's back.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
He's back.
Put that there. Finish up what I'm doing. Okay. There should be one more thing, I think, because we're still going. And we've got a fine variety of base liquors and mixers around us. I should be able to come up with something.
You should be.
Yeah.
We need to get the other bottle of bubbles.
If I'm going to top with bubbles, I would have to do that, wouldn't I? Hmm.
Yeah.
Like I should have done that before I sat down.
Oh, a rabbit Lola. I'm celery and carrot tops.
It's a good thing to do with the carrot tops and the celery. You know, I believe in
Perfect.
putting all of that stuff in the compost. But if you have a rabbit, put it in the
I
rabbit.
know, we don't have a rabbit.
Yeah.
Not an official rabbit, anyway.
We used to have a couple of bunnies hopping around the backyard. Haven't seen them in a while.
I didn't see them this year.
No, plenty of squirrels, groundhogs, deer.
Oh,
We
he
have
saw a
deer.
skunk.
We saw a
That
skunk.
story.
Just walked through the backyard. Just went saunter, saunter, saunter. Took a look at me and I said, "I'm going this way. Which way are you going?" Took off. Yeah, smart little guy.
We said it was just on the patio.
Yeah, just like walked
He
through.
just opened the doors on the patio.
Went through a
Hi.
gap in the gate and just took a look, said hello. I was thinking, well, I know what you eat. There's probably not too much of that around here, but keep looking.
I feel like our gate shouldn't have gaps, and then that wouldn't happen. But
Well, it's by the house.
why now?
It's hard to control that. We could tighten things up once things get revised.
No.
But
Yeah, this thing keeps riding up. I'm looking at myself on this video going,
I don't like it.
the color is like, it's very strange. Anyway.
But anyway.
But anyway.
So, you like to crack that out of the bottle. I
Well,
could.
what would you like to make?
I still think I'd
And
do
if
something
you
with
don't
bubbles.
want to make anything, that's okay too.
I still think, yeah, well, I still have coffee, but even that is growing low. I gotta say.
My coffee's gone.
Hmm.
I'm going to be drunk and buzzed after this. Hi,
Well,
Michelle.
hello. So nice to see you.
Yay.
We've got some people joining us slightly later. For those who are just hitting us right
That's
now,
okay.
we've made some fantastic things already for brunch. And that has included,
Whenever you join us, it's great.
whenever you join us, fun things happen. That has included the classic Bloody Mary. That has included the classic champagne cocktail. Also, the French 75 was the first one up out of the
Christy
gate.
says better skunks than bears one right through the yard.
Oh,
The skunk was more like when
Yeah.
he opened the door, there was just like a skunk staring at him, and he's like, "Oh, hello."
Yeah.
That was really more of it. Like, just seeing a skunk is one thing, but having it like, "Hello,"
Yep.
that's something else. But
the simple fact is, and this should be borne in mind, that if you don't corner a skunk, it's likely to take off. So if you're thinking, I'm going to get sprayed, well, don't chase the skunk and you won't get sprayed. They're pretty skittish. Nocturnal animals.
this is his whole scout experience.
Don't mess with the skunks. I remember, well, when I was young, we had dogs and cats, and the dog would always find a skunk in the yard and bark its full head off and get sprayed. If you're going to corner a skunk, it will defend itself. If you're going to walk away, the skunk will go the other way. Because you're larger than it. So, it doesn't want to be prey. That's pretty simple. What can we make here?
Why do I feel like I would still end up sprayed? Because I'd be like, "Hey, whatever." I would be backing up. Yeah.
You
okay.
back away from
It's your
the
world.
animal. The animal thinks, yeah.
It's your
fine.
world. This is
Yeah.
all okay.
I'm still wondering what to make here. there are some fantastic bubbly kind of things that we could do. And we did the
Too
excellent
many
Bombay
choices.
Punch. I could practically do that again. That was really good. Well, there is an idea.
Do you, boo?
There's an idea.
Oh, wait. Jennifer shared one. 2 ounces coffee, liquor, club soda, and half-ounce triple sec.
Apple soda tonic. Oh. That sounds lovely.
You know what you could use?
Yeah.
We do have a couple of kinds of coffee liquor. There's also that Jameson stuff.
That's true, too. Oh, that's interesting. So it's coffee.
Chrissy says definitely most skunks around here get sprayed. This says if you mess with a skunk, no one will mess with you for at least a week.
Yeah, true.
I don't want to find out. Like
and
I'm not country like that. Like if he ends up
No.
sprayed, I'm gonna be like, oh, see you in a week or two.
As much as it seems like we live in rural paradise, we're in a city right now.
We are.
You know, we have sewer and gas, we have sidewalks. This is a city. We actually are not taking our water out of a well.
Nope.
So I expect certain city creature comforts, and I do not expect every animal in creation to be here, but they are because they're very close.
They are though.
They are. We get the groundhogs, we get the skunks, we get the possums, we get the deer. Bears.
We have had bears.
Bears have been spotted on the
Had
street.
bears.
Not by us, but years ago, a bear walked across the
No,
street.
there was
somebody
one
reported.
recently. You said.
Recently, where?
You said you got an email that said, "Did anyone
That's
see
true.
the bear?" Yeah, so,
That's true.
Yeah,
One of the
so,
neighbors
look at
actually
bears.
sighted a bear. So I will
Coffee
be forewarned.
martinis. Oh, Jennifer's saying coffee martinis.
Coffee teeny. Oh boy.
Oh, Jamie. Sorry, Jamie.
Oh, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Let's get it right.
Coffee martinis.
Some vodka. Okay.
I love it.
Boy, well, I like the suggestions. Thank you, folks. I mean, these are all good ideas. And if anybody
you,
is
Jamie.
inspired
That
and
sounds
say,
amazing.
gee, I haven't had anything all day because I'm on the West Coast, maybe I'll start with something.
I have had one or
There's
two.
some great ideas happening here. I might have had something, she says.
I might have had one or two.
I might have had one or two. I'm still thinking bubbly, but I'm starting to think about that Jameson's.
You can still bring the bubbles though.
Yeah.
We could do the Jamesons with the bubbles.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we could. Nope. That's just Jameson's. Jameson's cold
That's
brew.
on the cold brew.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Let's make that happen.
All right, so
Bring
survey
it.
says.
All right.
Bring it.
It's all. I want my shrimp, but I'm going to have a piece of toast. Gotta line the stomach. Mmm. I did make two of those big garnishes, even though I knew I was not having a Bloody Mary. So it's just a skewer, just a brunch skewer now. Gotta clean up, a little bit messy. All right, so you got the bubbles, you got the cold brew. All right, it's brunch. It's classic brunch.
It's brunch. So I think I will do the following. I've got the cold bubbles. They've been cold. They will stay cold.
Gotta pop that baby.
Mm-hmm. Still working on the tomato juice, just in terms of health. I'll actually refresh the glass.
Oh, okay. Sandy
Because-
says we can't open a bottle of champagne without Jerry making some Chatham artillery punch.
Oh,
There's a
fun.
historical marker in Savannah that says it gave George Washington a hell of a hangover. I love that.
I don't doubt that.
Shrimp toast, yes, please.
Oh, shrimp toast.
Oh yeah.
We have shrimp and toast, just not shrimp toast. But shrimp toast is an excellent idea. You know,
I've been to Savannah, but I didn't see that marker.
I have not. And
Savannah
I have
is
seen similar
awesome.
markers various places. It's a good thing. No, a fun city. Big one happening there. I'm thinking. to
I was
myself,
working, so
well,
I didn't do a lot of sightseeing, but Savannah was beautiful.
Most of the places I've been in the American South, I was working, as a matter of fact. And it was actually a really great job, and it was theater, and we had fantastic audiences.
Mm-hmm.
People were very, very connected in the South. And there's probably specific reasons for that. And in the meantime, of course, there are people in various places who actually enjoy a nice drink too. Well, that's got a lot of history behind it too. Artillery punch, fish house punch. These are the kind of things that'll take you back 200 years. Made properly, good idea. It's kind of a simple formula ultimately, but sometimes you just gotta figure it out. So I got a fresh glass. I would take 1 cube in there, please.
Right, let me...
I'll wait for you to take care of that.
Otherwise you're going to have shrimpy ice cubes.
I don't want shrimpy ice cubes. Shrimpy toast is one thing.
You want your drink to be all shrimpy.
When I want shrimp juice, I ask for shrimp juice. You know?
Okay. How many ice cubes would you like?
I'll take 1, please.
All right.
We did drinks in July when the clams played that featured clam juice. I thought it was highly appropriate.
That was fun.
That worked very well.
That was a lot
and
of fun.
if you're by such ideas, remember that clam juice is fairly mild.
Yes.
So they basically made the clam teeny.
That was a lot of fun.
That was quite all right. So I think we'll do a simple 75 kind of thing. Let's give us just a dash of the lemon. And let's follow up with, yes, the Jameson's Cold Brew. This is coffee flavored Irish liquor. Irish whiskey with this. And I'll put about an ounce of there in there.
Got some shrimp in my tooth.
Can't help that.
Listening is wondering why is she making that weird face. That's why.
No. Yep. That guy right down there. And it's time to pop the bubbles. It's always fun to pop the bubbles on air because, you know.
Artillery punch. I bet, you know, Christy, I bet we have that recipe.
Yep.
I bet we have that.
I think every book that we've got, that's a classic book, bang, has an artillery punch. Going to fill with the prosecco. Actually, this is cava. If you would, yes,
I would.
I would. And I'm going to add a dash of orange bitters just for luck.
For luck.
Good luck, they said.
Uh-oh, we gotta plug in.
Whoa.
Our battery grows low.
Give this a slight stir, just because. And here we have sort of a coffee punch.
Let's see.
Yeah, actually, that's a very mildly flavored because I've got
Oh,
all the rest of that going on.
That's delicious.
But that's quite nice. You would enjoy this. So, the Jameson's Cold Brew Coffee.
So it was just the cold brew.
Ounce of the cold brew coffee,
Lemon
dash of lemon, fill with the bubbles.
Okay.
I built this in the glass over 1 rock. You don't have to, but keep everything else cold.
All right, we gotta plug in though.
Be right back.
Because, you know,
Gonna happen.
these devices. Classic recipe for Chatham artillery punch beans. Fill 1 regular sized horse bucket with ice. I love that. Not having a horse. I don't know how much that is, but. What are you doing? It's that time of year where you can't coordinate. You could probably turn off the AC now, actually.
I just turned off the heat, actually.
But you could turn off the AC too, I bet. It's that time of year where you can't coordinate the heat and the air conditioning.
It's trouble.
I'm going to do it this way. All right.
Whoa.
All right. We can see. We are plugged in. Yay. Okay. Oh, perfect. Does that sound different? Turn off the AC. It's been on this whole broadcast.
Yeah. It was a little warm before.
All right. Yeah, Chrissy says I don't have a horse bucket. I don't either. I don't know how much horses eat, drink. Oh, Lewis and Ellen, thank you. Thank you so much for watching and being in touch and the kind words. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. It's great.
Yay.
And they're tuning in from the UK, I believe.
Yes.
So great to hear from our correspondents around the world in various places.
Oh my gosh.
Other places in the world enjoy some good drinks too, after all.
This recipe that Satellite posted. my gosh.
Oh, wow.
I believe that's the recipe. Uh-oh.
Let's grab you that, please. Come on.
Apple cords are no joke.
They really aren't.
All right.
Well, that's back in the day when a punch was a punch. You didn't
Talk
make
about a punch was a punch.
You didn't make a glass. You made enough for an army. So here we go.
When a punch was a punch.
Regular sized horse bucket.
And grooving was grooving.
You know, it's kind
Dancing was everything.
I'm kind of surprised that in that era people were talking about using ice because that was a classic thing to not use in cocktails. That really comes in, I think, with the 19th century in the States, and places decide that they're going to start using ice. And frankly, it improves a lot of things. You don't have to use it in drinks, but you know, but if you're drinking stuff straight, frequently serve it over one rock, you know.
I'm going to spray myself because I haven't done anything, but I just see all of these like known to cause cancer in the state of California. And I'm like, well, I'm not in California, but
that just means that California has your number.
jazz hands.
Yeah. So. Do you need to mix something? You appear to be out.
I do.
Now, you could do what I did. You do another thing. You do something you
I don't want to
done.
do what you did. I want to do something else. Right. I'm just being stupid right now. All right.
Move on to the bacon course.
Hey, don't eat. You're not eating my bacon.
No, of course not.
Don't eat my bacon.
Of course not.
All right. I am thinking I was going to do another champagne cocktail, but all the sugar cubes are gone.
We got more sugar cubes.
All the sugar cubes are gone, and the sky is gray.
The sky's clear today.
Give me another sugar cube.
I'd be glad to.
I could go get my own, but I'm just trying to think of like how everything is packed here. How much of a fool of myself I would make if I tried to go get my own sugar cube.
How much of a disaster you would make of all these things if you tried to get out of here. I understand. So, look, I've got much more capability. I just want to comment on a few comments. Christy says, everything causes cancer in California. Yeah, pretty much. I've got some great pictures from Disneyland.
Oh, he was taking pictures of everything that said, causes cancer in the state of California.
I'm like, Disneyland causes cancer in California. You don't get much more like classic California than Disneyland. So what can I say? Boom.
No.
Janice is noting it's getting close to dinner hour on the East Coast. Well, it's definitely tea time here.
I'm still eating.
So brunch turns into happy hour. Well, you know, it could happen.
There you go. Well, that's brunch. That's Sunday. You could be eating brunch at 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm. So you need a sugar cube.
I'm just thinking of the places in New York City that have brunch, and it's brunch all day. So, you know. Why not bring a few more? Here. Yep. Put a few in here.
Grab the, and I will fill them.
And then we'll just have champagne cocktails. My family Zoom is going to be really fun. We do a family Zoom on Sunday. And I know you're both watching. This is going to be awesome. Thank you.
Only the finest.
Only the finest. All right. I'm just going to do another champagne cocktail because what the heck.
Return to the classics.
I'm returning to the classics.
Ah, Johnson's got to catch an early bird special. That's right.
Oh my gosh, these bitters smell so good. I don't normally notice these, but
I can sure has a nice flavor.
They smell great. All right. Soaking my sugar cube because I feel like the more it soaks, the more it will dissolve, and that's the point.
It's a classic method, much like an old-fashioned. Old-fashioned is a deceptively simple thing that could involve a lot of junk, or it could just be a sugar cube and some bitters and a little bit of fluid and then 2 ounces of your liquor.
All right. I don't want it to overflow, so I will pour slowly.
Chrissy says, zoom, 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 zoom.
Exactly. We're gonna zoom, 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 zoom. I don't remember how the melody goes on that little ditty, but uh-oh.
We do not yet own the album, so I can't play it for you. Although we could play you Big Blue Marble.
Big Blue Marble just makes me cry.
And yeah, it's a pretty solemn song ultimately.
Makes me cry.
We do own the Wonderama record for all of you New York kids. Oh boy.
I did not grow up with Wonderama, but for some reason I knew the Exercise song.
Mm-hmm.
And when they started playing it on Double Dip Recess, which that's a whole other discussion that we can have offline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
But I knew that one growing up. Exercise, exercise. Come on, everybody, do your exercise.
Mm-hmm. And there's also, for your New York kids, we do happen to own not only the first, but the second album from the Secret Garden.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, Magic Garden.
Paula and Carol.
Paula and Carol.
Yeah.
Magic Garden.
Magic Garden.
This is the Garden of Make-Believe.
Yeah.
I did not grow up with that. Despite being a New York kid from way back.
Thing.
Yeah, I didn't see that at the time. It happened a little later, so I kind of missed that.
When I moved to New York, everyone talked about Magic Garden, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, I knew what I was talking about. But, no. But, yeah, that was a New York thing.
Probably syndicated various other places, but it's a pretty specific local thing. And otherwise, there's, I've mentioned Marvel. I don't know if there was a New Zoo review record, for all you kids who grew up in that period.
There must have been.
But there has to have been.
There must have been.
Has been these things. Somebody was asking recently about Fred Rogers records, and I'm like, I don't remember.
Have you seen the movie with Tom Hanks?
You did.
It's so sweet.
You did.
It's so sweet. It made me happy.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things.
One of those things. It was so good. And he was... you don't just watch it and think like, oh, this is just some out of touch guy. Like, no, he was totally in touch.
He was clued in.
He knew what people needed.
He was a type of television pioneer. I mean, TV had been on air at that point for a good 25 years. But that style of kids show was a little new.
Yeah.
And he was happening at around the same time as Sesame Street and all that. Yep. Just like a sort of an innovation.
Yep. In
educational TV, and it just did it. It was very simple, and it was very gentle. And honestly, at the time that premiered, it's kind of exactly what people needed. So,
I love the movie with Tom Hanks. So if you get a chance to see it, or if you've already seen it, I loved it. Yeah. Just looked over Paul. I was met with a totally blank look.
I can't say anything else. I'm kind of good.
He's just like, I'm done.
Yep, kind of great. I've been talking about New York kids TV. We can get into discussions of Chuck McCann. I think that's like a long vein.
Now okay? I know that name. Why do I know Chuck McCann?
Chuck McCann because he was one of the Far Out Space Nuts, and he's done a ton of kids TV over the years.
I've heard of Chuck McCann, but I don't know why I know that name.
Look him up. You'll see a bunch of Chuck McCann.
I'll go look him up.
Kind of great. Zachary. Now there we're getting into Pittsburgh, I believe.
We have a Zachary.
And it's exactly the time of year for Zachary, local TV hosts. Which
See, I grew up with Elvira. We had Elvira.
Elvira, of course, is a takeoff on Vampira.
Yep.
From the early 50s in Los Angeles, of course.
Yep.
She appeared in Plan 9 from Outer Space. I'm looking at the album cover right now. But definitely. The local host did just these great, great things. I did not grow up with Svengoolie, but folks, I believe in the Chicago area would talk about Svengoolie.
Svengoolie rocks.
He was just, and like the current Svengoolie is the son of Svengoolie, and he's extremely cheesy and hysterical. So it's definitely worth it.
I have no problem with either of those things.
But circa the right period, I remember growing up with, I believe this was Channel 56 in Boston, at Charles Lockwood era. and he was a DJ on, I believe, WBCN. He did great shows on BCN. He did a video show where he did just cheesy movies. I remember seeing Invaders from Mars on this show. Great color, really great print that he showed this. And he, like, in the breaks, he would, like, go to commercial and come back, and he had, like, a UFO expert. He had this guy in these, like, terrible 80s sunglasses talking like, yeah, we saw these UFOs here. We've got some video of them landing. And he's got, like, a toaster on a string lands, and, like, a grilled cheese comes out of the thing. And so here comes the aliens. It was hilarious.
Wait, who was this?
Charles Laquadera was showing this. And at another juncture,
who else knows of this? This is the first.
Anybody? Amy?
How long have we been married? 22 years.
You know?
I have 21 years. I have not heard this.
There we go. Lisa's got Chicago Swingoli every Saturday. Oh, Amy's watching that too. Detroit has her Graves Ghastly. Oh, awesome!
Oh my gosh! Okay,
oh, that's too much. Thank you, Julie.
Many. I love these local. These local heroes. I love this. This is great.
Hey, remember Laquadera? He was on, I think it was 56 or 38. It was one of the UHF stations. At one point, he plays the Boston Strangler, the 1968 movie, and he talks about the fact that he auditioned for this movie, and he created a whole audition video, and then he whipped it out. There he was, like, playing the role.
I've known Paul since late 1993, and this is the first I'm hearing of this.
Well, he apparently demoed this for the guy who was producing the movie. The guy was very impressed, but then they went ahead and got a really big star. So that was the end of that.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we have some deep YouTube searching to do after this.
I think we need to find some stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Somebody recently sent me a video of Willie Whistle. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that thing in ages.
Who's Willie Whistle?
This was like a Boston area clown on the air, and he, like, it was a kid's show, right? But the clown just whistled. It was really crazy. I think it would have caused your sister fits.
This is the first I'm hearing about any of this. I've known Paul since the end of 1993.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Amy's talking with Laquadera was morning DJ on BCN. That's back when BCN was BCN. I remember listening in the 80s. I can date myself. I didn't used to get this, but I remember specifically we still had a rooftop aerial when my mother actually moved to cable. And it was still on the roof. And I remember hooking up the receiver to this thing, and suddenly I can get Boston, and I was getting BCN. And they had some great shows. I was like, wow, what have I been missing here? And I was listening to BRU, Brown University Radio. There was some cool stuff on there. Introduced me to all the new wave. Fantastic. But BCN was a revelation. So that's cool to hear. He did TV.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was Channel 56. I have to watch. Andrea says, Uncle Ted's Ghoul School, Northeastern PA, Scranton.
What?
All these guys who did these horror shows.
Okay, I keep hearing about all these cool things from Scranton. I need my Scranton people to PM me cool things to do in Scranton, because we're like an hour away from Scranton. And I keep hearing about cool things. I'm like, maybe we need a road trip. So I'm missing YouTube.
Dwayne Glasgow.
YouTube. Anything happening on the tubes?
Big mattress. I just checked.
Oh, okay.
Guess not. But if you're watching on YouTube and you want to comment, please chime in.
But I keep hearing about the fun things in Scranton. So, yeah.
Santa's wondering if Elvira is the Oak Ridge Boys song. I don't believe so, but it really should have been. She was a thing then.
That's who I grew up with.
Yeah.
Elvira.
Yeah. Because I think it was like Los Angeles based.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Cool. She
was our Spenguli, what was the guy's name? We have his picture.
Uncle Ted. Oh, the guy on the wall. I forget him.
Yeah.
I forget him.
Dang.
Yeah.
We have his picture up, but I can't remember his name.
It might be Uncle Ted. I don't remember.
No.
And we have Sir Graves Ghastly, Detroit.
I love this. I love all the
fantastic.
Regional.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love that.
Whatever your local guy was doing in terms of a guy or gal, as a matter of fact.
Yep.
Was these things, because
You know, Vampira really pioneered a lot of these things, like, you know, the Vampiress host. Wow. That was pretty heavy at the time.
I'm going to try to figure this out. If I can't figure it out in 30 seconds, I will give up, but...
I'm going to refresh my bubbles.
Oh, well, then you can go in there.
Mm-hmm. Don't mind if I do.
You can figure this out. All right, so... Oh my gosh. Okay, so I just searched on horror hosts 1980s, and I got Al Grandpa Lewis. We all know
yeah,
him.
he did do a show.
Bob Wilkins. I think it was Bob Wilkins, right?
Hmm.
Commander USA's Groovy Movies. Count Floyd.
Count Floyd.
Gore Duvall. Count Scary. Cremation Mortem. Dr. Paul Bearer. That's hilarious. Dr. Paul Bearer. That's very funny. Okay. Goulardi.
Goulardi. How can we figure out Goulardi?
Deadly Ernest. I love it. Okay. All right. Dr. Gangrene. Dr. Sarcophagus Guy. That's
Sarcophagus
pretty funny. Gilbert Gottfried. We all know him. Okay. I'm thinking... Okay, and then Elvira. But I'm thinking that we're thinking of Bob Wilkins.
I really have to see the picture.
I think, yeah. Okay. I think that's it, though. Stuart says, when I first tuned in, I thought Paul took a job as one of Catwoman's henchmen in the old Batman series.
Let's get Batman, shall we?
Wow, these horror hosts. Oh my gosh.
I kind of feel like one of Catwoman's henchmen, but it depends on the Catwoman.
Exactly.
Am I talking Julie Newmar? Am I talking Eartha Kitt? It's hard to say.
Man, you know, everyone has their own memories.
There's these things.
And I think there are great horror hosts now, too. I'm sure it's different from when we were kids. You would just watch whatever was offered up to you. But
Yeah.
I'm interested in how it's different.
Oh, Amy's actually name-checking Dale Dorman, who hosted Creature Double Feature on Channel 56. Yeah, I remember Creature Double Feature. You would watch these movies, like, you had all this glare coming in, because this happened at, like, 1 in the afternoon. So you're like, your eyes would get all like, completely glazed over watching 2 Toho features. It was just like Godzilla versus Ghidorah, Godzilla versus the Smog Monster. Oh,
There
heavy.
is still a movie that I have. I will never be able to identify it, but I remember it being on one time when I was like, I don't know, adolescent, not a kid, but it involved this sort of
amorphous blob.
Well, perhaps.
Maybe.
But it was on wheels, I think.
Amorphous
in
blob on
hindsight.
wheels?
Well, no, but it was Spanish speaking. I got that right.
Mm-hmm.
Spanish speaking
Spanish horror, 70s.
horror film from the 70s, and it was this small, like, it wasn't that threatening, but they all acted like it was threatening, but I can't remember what
Strange
it was.
thing on
but
wheels.
yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was just kind of small, and it came after
Anybody?
them, and they seemed like semi-scared of it.
It's like Phantasm, except for like a hovering sphere. It was like this thing on wheels.
But Phantasm was kind of scary. This was
Yeah.
sort of semi-scary, but I got to give the actors credit because they acted like it was scary.
They did their job, you know.
I can't remember what that was.
Interesting.
But,
Anybody? Interesting.
and I just saw it on TV, so
Andrew's wondering, are those fuzzy boots?
these are.
Yeah, I think they're fuzzy boots. Not kinky boots, but fuzzy boots.
These are my daily wear. I feel like I need a second pair.
And Amy is simply saying, Mothra! Yes, Mothra.
I think of Mothra every time I see a moth, by the way.
Oh, Surf and Rib has Offbeat Cinema. Oh, who's the host? Who's the host?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
I remember all of these very well. In particular, the Toho from the early 70s, which dealt with industrial pollution, which had like the two tiny gals involved with Mothra. They were like the two little servant gals, and then the band playing Save the Earth. It was really something else. Now, Japan, of course, is an island nation and is very sensitive to, like, very sensitive to pollution happening around the nation. There was like a ton of smog for years, and that like only recently got cleared up, and of course, ocean dumping and all that sort of thing. So this was a very major concern at the time. In the States, we can just dump with abandon and nobody cares until suddenly New Jersey is a Superfund site. And then suddenly it's a problem, right? It's a big
You
issue.
should warn me before you say things like
Yeah,
that.
the smog monster.
I
The
might
smog
choke,
monster was a real
but-
thing. And literally a year later, you have Soylent Green. So we're thinking about, oh, wow, what's going on here? Well, pollution happens. Currently a problem other places in the world, but that doesn't mean it's not a problem. Jamie still watches Swinguli every Saturday. Swinguli is hilarious. The rubber chickens! I'm telling you. But definitely.
I've got to pack up our rubber chickens for getting new windows next week.
Yes.
We have a bunch of rubber chickens in the kitchen.
They've got to
Do you
go.
still have the spray over there?
I do have the spray
Me too.
somewhere.
I think it's over there. I don't see it over here.
We'll find it. No, that's not it. Come on.
It can't have gone far.
Nope, it has not.
Oh, it fell over.
There you go.
Never mind.
The smog monster was a real thing. Smog has been with us at least since the 19th century in the UK. And all that soft coal produced a lot of heavy smoke and fog. And various other places, I believe Pittsburgh had a major incident in the 40s. And then, of course, Japan got it hard in the 70s. And that's where you got it.
A couple of my favorites. All right, so we put out a call for Halloween videos. I don't know, a month or so ago. And we did get one good suggestion, which we are going to follow up. But if you have suggestions for Halloween movies for which we should make videos, let us know.
Please.
Because we're completely open. But a couple of my favorites are The Monster That Challenged the World, which was in the Salton Sea, I believe.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That monster was ugly and deadly, and
It was a giant sea slug.
it was a giant sea slug, and it needs a video. And
Needs a drink.
I'm trying to think. Oh, there was another one. The one that was set in Mexico.
Piedras Blancas?
No. That was in California.
Oh, true.
This was... I'm trying to remember the name.
Bye, Lisa.
We own it.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yay!
It's awesome. We'll see you on the flip side.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you Tuesday and Wednesday and all sorts of days.
Tomorrow anyway.
Amy says, camera! Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, this was the one with the like one-eyed monster that was like the slug.
The slug is a Salton Sea.
No. This was, I can't remember now. We own it, but it's in there. The one with the mini submarines.
Oh, Beast from like 20,000 Fathoms?
No. No.
Thinking about it.
This was
Andrew.
monster from something about the ocean floor or something.
Out of my head.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure that
But I
part
think
out.
it's a good one for a Halloween video.
Yeah. Well, we have, at this point, the balance of a month to get to all the Halloween videos, and we are working them because, big fun.
Exactly.
Too true.
All right.
All right.
Okay. I think that's it. I think my phone might have died, actually.
We can't turn this off.
Nope.
I guess we just keep going.
I gotta plug my phone in so that we can disconnect.
Eating eggs.
I need you to hook me up so we can disconnect from this.
We can't go. Gotta keep going. What's your next cocktail, folks?
All right, well.
How about Monster from the Ocean Floor, 1954?
I think that's it. Monster from the
you.
Ocean Floor.
Jamie and Dane have named it. Thank you, folks.
Have you seen that
these as my
movie?
favorites.
That movie is good because they have mini submarines. It's like, hey, I think I'll go out in my mini submarine.
Mini, like human-powered submarine.
Really? A mini submarine? Okay.
This is like totally cool.
Because I want one.
Yeah, I kind of do want one. They're kind of fun.
Well, Paul and I will be live until we hook up my phone so that we can disconnect this broadcast, and we won't be disconnecting this broadcast until Paul goes and gets the cord so that we can disconnect the broadcast.
Paul has actually volunteered. Paul has volunteered the atomic submarine. I think that's different, but the fact that you have named that means I have to investigate that. That sounds incredible. Wow. Sandy says so much fun. Thank you, Sandy. You've contributed materially to this by providing a cocktail
for a few minutes because
folks,
my phone's dead.
Normally where do we tune out, but we can't because we're stuck in a loop. So we're going to be here for the next 16
It's
hours.
like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah.
Only
I just keep feeding pennies to that little like demon guy on the counter at the diner.
It's like a Twilight Zone episode, only real.
Yeah. Or we're on the plane and I'm like looking out the window and I'm seeing strange things happening. But all I need to do is get power and we can make this thing happen.
I know.
Ah, thank you, Satellite. It's so great to have you.
Yay! Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Lori's joined. Well,
Hi,
hello.
Lori.
Oh, hello.
We're trying to find a cord so that we can end this.
Log off, as a matter of fact. But you know.
You think of one thing and you don't think of 87 other things. Like, how do we end this broadcast? P.S. We both need new phones. So, I am having a champagne cocktail. What are you having right now?
I believe just straight bubbles.
I feel like you had something else.
Well, I put bitters in it, but that was it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
We've moved on to straight bubbles at this point.
Okay.
Uh-oh. It's not going to be as easy as all that to end this. I like an awkward ending. This is awkward. Okay. All right.
Give us a second.
Plugging in.
Mm-hmm.
Plug that in. All right. Uh-oh. Okay, yep. Nope, that's not enough.
Gonna take a second.
Yep, no, it's... My phone is rejecting this battery. I think we need an extension cord.
No, you can power it up.
No, it's not working. I'm telling you. It's not working.
It's gonna take a second to glue in.
It's not. It's
Why?
not working.
What's the matter?
I promise you it's not working.
Give it a second. It's like, it has power.
I gave it a second. It's not working. Frankenstein can't make this work.
Chrissy's just drinking champagne and sour cherry. Oh, I know the sour cherry.
Oh, what
That's
a good idea. I might do that
Yeah.
next. After we end this broadcast, if we ever end this broadcast. I'm going to go grab an extension cord because Paul's given up.
Well, that's not going to help.
Yeah, it will. I'm telling you, this gave me the dead battery thing before it completely gave up.
Try it again. This has plenty of power.
You can mansplain it to me, but...
I'm not mansplaining anything. Here you go.
Yeah, it doesn't work because it's on 0 battery. I can't even log on.
Ben Cooper, in fact, is in the house. Thank you, sir. Andrea says, Buñuel.
I'm going to go get an extension cord because
And Jennifer is saying we should do a Twilight Zone themed stream.
I feel like I'm doing it right now, but okay.
Feel like it?
Heard me.
Mm-hmm. Trying our part. Just hanging as Frankie, folks. This is where we go. All suggestions are gratefully appreciated at this point in time. Mm-hmm. What do you have?
All right, I'm coming in. All right, I'm coming in with my save my egg because I'm eating that. It's caught in the hem of my robe.
I swear.
Of course.
What else?
All right.
Ting-a-ling-a-ling.
I'm going to let you figure out the... Oh, wait. We got to unplug it from there. Plug it into here.
Mm-hmm. What you trying to plug?
The computer so that we can log off of this. Okay.
You mean your phone?
Yeah.
But your phone has power.
No, my phone has no power.
Your phone has power. You're using it. Just saying.
I'm just saying it does not. Okay. All right. Okay, I plugged in, and I think we got this. So, an awkward ending to an otherwise fabulous brunch. Thank you, Frankie, for joining us.
Of course.
So we will see you tomorrow for Mocktail Monday. Not a moment too soon. But in the meantime, we will...